And the actual stream. And we up. Woohoo!
Hey, hey, everybody! Welcome, welcome, welcome! How's everybody doing tonight? Are we coming in loud and clear?
I'd lose my brain if it wasn't attached.
I mean, fair. Did you change the wheel up? I mean, I like it. Don't get me wrong, but I was like, oh, you changed the wheel.
I did change the wheel. We had some feedback in regards to uh it being hard to read um
Gotcha.
the names. So go all the way up. There we go.
So, how's everybody doing? How's everybody's weekend going? If you happen to have a graduate, congratulations, because this happens to be graduation weekend here in Tennessee. Um, so yeah, this one is far more legible. Especially with the way Izzy's got it shrunk down.
Well, I
Uh,
needed to leave some space just in case our full roster comes up. We've been making some adjustments and whatnot here and there, just to make sure that the Hold My Pen Promptcast is a recognizable thing on your screen in your video feed over on YouTube after the VODs come down on Twitch. Um, and so that all the thing. Oh yeah. Okay. I wanna look at that one.
yay! We're always happy when we have more space.
There we go. That's better. Oy vey. Hello, first time chatter.
Oh, I know that chatter.
You know that chatter.
You know that chatter too, but you don't know that you know that chatter.
Right. I don't recognize that name. So it's okay. Nice. Y'all, it's my 11-month
Okay.
sub anniversary. Oh, okay. Hello. Hello, hello, hello. All right. So don't forget, if we are blurry on your screen on a computer device, I don't know how it works on mobile. You can go to the gear icon on the YouTube video or the Twitch video and change the source uh quality, right? We broadcast in 1080p. So that is the clearest version of it. Also, you will see if you are on YouTube that any Twitch comments come through the Restream bot onto the uh, chat over on YouTube, and vice versa. Uh, or YouTube chatters will come to the Twitch stream as Restream bot with their username back and forth. So you guys can communicate back and forth. If you have Twitch issues, you can always go over to the YouTube. There is a slightly larger lag on the YouTube, stream, just FYI. And once again, thank you very much to our technical support Viking, the TSV, for walking me through this, system and making sure that I can do things. We did have an overheating issue due to some bent pieces that happened during its various shippings. And so we got a new part, we replaced it. I did it all by myself. Uh, good, good, Izzy. And we got that going. And the temperatures are at a much better range, so we should not have any issue. Yes, all hail the TSV. Now, since I'm running up and running, I can also call him the emotional support Viking, and he can't do a damn thing about it. I'm not trying to piss off the TSV. I'm just saying. Consensual butt touches? Have we been watching Stray Kids content and hearing about consensual butt touches? Ju- ju- Just saying.
Lord have mercy.
What? You know I had to bring in my boys into this conversation.
I do. I do know that. So,
I have
am I
literally,
surprised?
like,
No.
no, no, nobody is surprised at this point. I keep seeing the kidnapper memes going, they bring you back in 2 hours. It's because you couldn't stop talking about what? And I'm like, Stray Kids, it seriously isn't gonna take 2 hours, 5 minutes, and they'll be like, "Nope, I'm taking you back." I'm
Personally,
like,
for
"But
me, if I was kidnapped, we all know why I got brought back. First, I'm gonna badger them about stopping at the store. Second of all, I'm gonna badger them about not having fucking snacks. And if I hear at least bit of a squeak or a growl or anything with the fucking engine in which I was kidnapped in the vehicle of, I am going to be like, no, pull the fuck over. You don't have to let me out. I just need to look at it. Like, how do you expect to get anywhere if we're fucking if we're broke down
out
on
on
the
the
side of
side
the
of the
fucking
road."
road? Easy, we're not.
I'll make sure of it.
Oh shit,
Abso-freaking-lutely.
what? We're gonna have to stop at AutoZone.
So, as
No, I
anybody who
promise.
is go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna sorry, I'm trying to finish a game.
Wait a minute. Oh, wait a minute. Look at what Sticks wrote.
Yep. What? Why is Bitzer yelling at me? I was finishing I was finishing while I was outside on the porch doing what I do, okay? And I didn't get through the level as fast. I'm putting the phone down.
Okay.
Okay. So, as any of our members in the Discord know, I did put up a announcement that we are splitting this weekend's show into 2 nights. The weather here has been very, very much wet. And when it gets wet or cold, I start to have breathing issues. So we are going to cut it relatively in half. That does mean, although the majority of our prompters did get in, technically you've got a bit of a reprieve. Okay. So if you're wanting to get one in last minute, please let Julie or myself know that you are going to get it in. The cutoff though for tomorrow will definitely be 3 p.m. Central. If you cannot get it in by 3 p.m. Central, you're just gonna have to wait till next week. Add on, make it bigger with the new prompt. So
We got a hype train started.
Woo! Hocus pocus, you need to focus. No, I don't. You like my chaos. Okay. So we covered with our screens up at the front, AI be gone. We did the trigger warnings of make sure you've got your hankies, your stress balls, your snacks. At some point, I'm going to need to go and get some snacks. I did eat. Okay. Y'all, I did remember to eat. Although, feel free at any given point in time in the Discord to at me at either my mobile account or the computer account and go, Izzy, have you eaten today? Because I have a problem remembering. Don't worry about the liquid. I got that handled. So we got all that handled. Um, And yes, this is in the center of the thing is our main logo. What you guys were seeing in previous weeks on the spinner was our YouTube banner, rebroadcast banner. Uh, and I do like the colors, but I also like this. This is actually made out of our original background when we were on TikTok. Uh, we would put that up behind us, and it also was we would release the, official prompt in words on the screen. We would do it for, shorts on YouTube as well as, uh, a separate video. Uh, we've grown a lot since the TikTok days. Really have changed how we do things. Um, and it's definitely a thing. Still trying to work out, the spinner, because the way I used to have it, the name stayed up, and now this new way of going through OBS, it shows for a second and then disappears. Sorry, we're still fiddling, you know? We are not professional podcasters, and we never
Regardless of
pretended
what
to
we
be.
do on a daily basis,
Yes.
regardless of what we do every week, or if you come in for Friday for Book for Friday, for any author, narrator, book, if you are involved in helping us take our fucking dreams and make them a reality in the book community, we want to hear from you. By the way, also links in the Beacons page to get on our show. But yeah, Book for Friday is a prime example. We are not 60 Minutes. We are not Oprah. We are two fucking rednecks sitting down making you laugh. That's our job.
Yeah. And yes, I
And no, we don't get
realize
paid to do this.
we don't get paid. Well, I mean, technically there is a payout from you guys from some of you having to watch ads, the ads that run on our show, your subscriptions. However, we are very upfront and honest about that money goes back into our yearly subscription for the newsletter so that we are not limited to how many people we can reach each week. Um, and on occasion, it has been used to make sure that Julie has medication in between paydays. On we also for her birthday early bought her a matching mic and a matching camera, and that's why she has a little bit more of a stable situation there. We can hear her clearly. She's not grainy anymore. And these are the things that you providing us with your words and giving us permission to share them with the world, which gets you advertising, gives us advertising revenue that we can continue to do this and make the show better and better and better. So thank you so much for allowing us to help all of our dreams become a reality.
By the way, Bitzer says he needs a hammer emoji.
Yes, we do need a hammer emoji. Yes, we do. Also, for those interested, there has been some additional emojis added to the Discord. Yeah, we'll definitely need a hammer one on the Twitch side. Definitely need a hammer one on the Twitch side. So, for those interested, the custom emojis have been added for Julie, for Patrick, and for Sticks. So, uh
It's no surprising to anybody that the emoji that was picked for me was a car.
classic car. They're not they're not sticks. They're not sticks. No, it's a milkshake. My milkshake brings all the boys to the yard and they're like,
No, Sticks, don't leave me here. Drive the car really fast around the back and I'll jump in. You have to take our crazy asses with you. That's the way this rolls. All right, everybody come on in, get settled in, and we'll get started in a minute. The only thing I ask, if you have a social of anywhere, hit the little box with the arrow icon, share the link out, and let's see if we can't get this bitch packed tonight. Because one, it is my birthday month. Two, it's the middle of the damn month. We need to start breaking some records here, people. If anything, just for the pure funny dunny of it. So
now, Sticks, you know
yeah,
I say it all in
the
sisterly
priorities
love.
myself are careful. We do. We do.
I do. I say it all in love.
All right. We do have a rather lengthy, you know, 10K tonight.
Yep. Got 7 tonight. Right now we are slated for what I say? 6 tomorrow?
Six, 13. We got
Yeah,
13.
but was that before? Did I say 6? Before our new submitter entered?
Oh, no,
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 it was
no. We're
7
going to
and
have
5.
five.
It was 7 and 5 because we've got our loquacious individuals submitting for tomorrow.
Right. So there may be six or
EDM?
seven for tomorrow night. We don't know.
Wait, I need to know, what is EDM? I know what TSV and ESV are because Julie and I gave you those, but what's EDM? Emotionally damaged milkshake. I might use that one more than ESV. I'm like, very sorry to our EDM. I say it in sisterly love. I promise.
I don't know.
Ads in 2 minutes. Oh, one additional thing that I just thought of. We now, because of screen economy and whatnot, we've got at max 4 people, 4 hosts up at the top, particularly backup readers when I'm not doing so hot, right? Hello, Nick. Look, do you want my blood sugar to drop sticks? Let me have this real quick. Leave me my blueberry yogurt that has entirely too much sugar in it. But I'm no stranger to sugar. Boo!
Get good.
Boo! That character was so fun. Boo cupcake!
Garo is fun.
Boo cupcake! Uh,
Thank you for your subscription. We got a follow. He did a follow and he did subscription. Thank you. Thank you.
fun, cool. And thank you for joining our server. Again, you can find our links to our Discord server, our newsletter, which also tells you about upcoming releases of our prompters, upcoming appearances by our prompters. We typically have the two most recent book releases and the most recent audiobook release. We also want to start getting authors' information ahead of time. So if you are slated or interested after publishing your book, being on our Booked for Friday segment, please make sure that you get your contact information. Julie, has a list of things that she sends out to those who have signed up to be on Booked for Friday. Get that stuff in the week before you're scheduled, please. So that way we can get it in the newsletter on Sunday that goes out after the streams are done. Patrick! Hi! Oh, it's Isu? Isu, right? It's an E sound rather than an I sound. Oh, okay. So you're both have two accounts the way I have two accounts? Watching, watching. Okay. Any hoozle. So make sure you
Okay.
get that stuff
Edward
in. If you
Brigson.
have yeah, if you have a book release, audiobook release, an appearance at some kind of book convention, please get that into us as soon as you know anything so that way we can properly plan that out and get that. I mean, we're free marketing. You're not getting charged. The only payment you have to make is submitting something for a prompt. And then you're in for life.
Yeah.
You get in the
And
newsletter.
depending on how interesting you are, you kind of get licked and then you get to stick around for like ever.
Forever. Just ask the EDM. I mean, he keeps threatening to leave, but I mean, I think he finds us just way too fun. Hello, beauties. Awesome. Isu. Okay. And two accounts. I'm not gonna lie.
Hey,
Building an
Luna.
account is so much easier because I know what those two things are. I used to be a Hellenic pagan. Not anymore.
She does not have you in her basement. It's in the attic.
No, because then he's closer to the boys. Basement's closer to me. I have a crawl space with a moat.
Trying to
Anywhoozle,
help you, sir.
Ed, trying to help me? No, 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 no. I have during this journey with you, Julie, I have claimed two younger brothers. Okay, and they are both a direct result of you, book talk, hold my pen prompt guest. So let me have my little brothers. They don't they
No,
don't
I mean,
need
trying to help you that you're not holding them hostage.
I mean, I did practice on my real brother not. Yes, that counts, Isu. That totally counts. Most of us here are self-published or indie published. I'm not published yet. I'm getting there. As of right now, I'm slated for August 25th next year. I know that's a very long time, but that's
I
because there is a plan for submission. Okay, so on to our first victim. I mean, prompter. Ask and deliver, brother. For those who can't see the side or forgot, Sticks is down in the bottom going, I hope I'm first so that we can get it done and over with. And what does the magic wheel, which we're not, again, full transparency, it's up on the screen. Y'all can't say that I lied. It's there. All right. See, okay, right up at the top of this email, which, by the way, when you submit, please feel free to put your pen name and word count in the subject line. That just makes it easier. Lately, Julie typically takes care of the paperwork and everything. And that way I don't have to go in and accidentally see what you've written if you have it in the body of the email. Uh, and so that would be really helpful, so that way if she's running behind or, something things got away from her, I can pop in there real quick, do the paperwork so that we have our numbers and our listings, and there we go. Perfect. If you forget, please feel free to just put it in the general chat and go, "Oh, shit, forgot to put my word count in. Here it is." And we'll connect everything. All right. Now, here's number 1 reason example, actually, not reason, example of why I licked Sticks, claimed him as a little brother, and said, "You don't get to leave." Basic trigger or language warnings. Where's the fun in that? Included in the YouTube rebroadcast. You don't read this line anyway. No, I don't. And guess what? That submission requirement was removed several newsletters ago. All right. Here we go. It was 9 p.m. on Friday night, and the author interview stream was providing the perfect background noise for finishing her writing. Perhaps starting her writing was a more accurate assessment of her situation, though. Kim had procrastinated all week on the prompt, and the show was rapidly approaching. She had already burned through her laundry list of usual excuses: kids, job, ADHD. Now she was sitting at her desk in the dark, lit by the dim glow of her computer monitor as she clacked away at her keyboard. She'd been so focused on cramming that her ADHD was beginning to remind her that she hadn't moved in a considerable amount of time. An itchy tingling began to crawl up her legs, reminding her of the spider she'd saved from her shower that morning. She shook her head to avoid following another rabbit hole about a spider cult story and began to violently tap her feet to banish the now prickly sensation climbing towards her knees. Focus. I'm going to finish this time. Linda and Jasmine already bullied me to finish, and I promised I would. Listen, Linda! One of the interviewers said something funny, and laughter filled her noise canceling headphones. Kim resisted the temptation to click the internet tab and watch the show instead of writing. Clack, 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 click. Wait, click? Kim heard a strange clicking sound, loud enough to pierce through her headset. She pulled one ear cup off to listen again. The only sound filling her empty apartment was the clock on the wall. Tick, click, tick, click. Huh. That was the first time she'd heard her clock over her headset. She contemplated swapping the clock's batteries out in case they were the culprit. No, stop, focus. Kim leaned forward over her desk, legs bouncing aggressively, furiously typing, echoing, furious typing, echoing off the mostly bare walls. Words flew across the screen, each born more from desperation than creativity. She knew her attention span was burning down faster than a bomb timer in an action movie, and there was no conveniently placed hero to stop it at exactly 1 second. She doubled down, squinting at the screen and racing her own thoughts against her fingers flying across the keys. After what felt like an hour of attempting to set a new words per minute world record, Kim glanced up at her word processor's integrated word counter. 1,500 words. And it had been at an even 1,000 the last time she'd looked. Seriously? And people say that hyperfocus is a superpower. She threw herself back into her desk chair, sending it rocking back as far as it would go. She rubbed at her eyes to relieve the sudden fatigue assailing her, letting them fall into her lap just in time to see a large, chitinous leg arch over her shoulder and across her chest. The prickling on her legs returned, this time rapidly climbing higher, above her knees, over her thighs, up her stomach to her chest and neck. Frozen in fear, she risked a glance down to see thousands of spiders covering her from the neck down. The massive leg shifted, adding enough pressure to spin her chair around so she could face the owner of said leg. Click, click, click. Headphones on the floor, Kim clearly heard the clicking of the spider's mandibles as it drew closer to her face. It was standing in the middle of her room, right next to her queen sized bed, which was equally as large. It stepped forward silently, then leaned closer, its breath on her face. The monstrosity drew a deep breath and let out a raspy, gasping sound that sent Kim's heart into her throat as her vision faded to black. Mother.
Um, yeah, that's okay. We're gonna start off strong tonight. No death. We just got started, and I think you're gonna be on tomorrow night. Yeah, we had 13 for this week, highest we've had in a while. the fun you're gonna have over here. Um, it's definitely gonna be a wild ride. I'm wondering if Izzy's alright and see if she's coming back because I can't spin the wheel.
Emotional support to Lenti.
I
I can't get it open.
can never get those damn things open. She's driving to Stix's place armed with a spoon. No, she's not. She'd have to come
God,
get
if
me
you had
first.
carve your heart out with a spoon.
I know. I got a coffee one the other day and I had to wait until one eye got home and opened it. And he looked at me, he's like, "You couldn't get it open?" I said, "I almost took a pair of fucking scissors to the plastic and just stabbed it open."
Oh, that's where it is. Okay, fine, fine, fine. Refresh. Okay. We're not discussing that one any further. Now I know why he was running his mouth last week. Never submitting again. Duck! Ooh, burning my fingers. I know it's ice cold, but it's burning my fingers. Okay. I mm, the betrayal. The betrayal. Exactly, Bitzer. You understand me. No stars were visible above the ruined church, and the sunlight hid behind thick, dark clouds. Stained window glass shards laid perfectly still while footsteps bounced off their surface. A slow, absent minded stroll, always at dawn, dragging its heels across eroded stones. This figure had half a body. It wandered down an aisle without a torso and without a bride. More figures like that roamed around those grounds. Some forms only had a torso, dragging across the rubble. Others weren't recognizable at all and wriggled over cobblestone. These spirits were as clear as daybreak. Dotted between cracked stones, yellow dandelions grew. Whatever made this space sacred hung by a thread, and Huey was certain. His senses clashed in their presence, clashing like two radio stations headbutting to dominate a dial number for a stereo. Huey was the dial number, and the presences headbutted for dominance. He rubbed his forming headache. He couldn't even enjoy the after a rainfall smell in the air. The scent brushed past him fluidly, moving beyond the lifeless sight, and he groaned pathetically. He regretted ignoring Eve's advice about sleeping. That extra sleep would have helped, but he wanted answers from their friends. Why were they being chased? Why weren't they answering? Maybe Theodore quit his habit of dodging Huey. He checked his phone one last time, hopefully for an answer. 0 missed calls. No answers from Paige either. Huey sighed, shoving his phone into his jeans pocket. Nicholas had dug up some clothes for them from a charity bundle. His jeans were rolled inside. His shirt sagged a little, too. The young car mechanic squinted past rubble and splintered wood. A tuxedo cat was in chase. The dark fur ball hopped onto an unsalvageable podium. It leered and hissed. That's Pastor, Huey explained. He squinted thoughtfully. Or Angel? Pastor, Fiona replied. Angel has a white tip on his tail. He would have swiped you. And moonshine sometimes comes around. They approached a ditch where an altar once stood. Eve cleared her throat. I feel exposed. Fiona chuckled. That's the blessing trying to weigh your heart. Thanks. I hate it, grumbled Eve. Why was this a good idea? It's like weight training, answered Fiona. She skirted around the ditch. The blessing on Nicholas's home is too strong for us. It's too strong for you. Even if it decided you were innocent, it would cause damage. This blessing is much more acceptable for a beginner. Your grandma put a lot of power into her blessing ritual. Huey said, Grandma knows her stuff. Huey asked, and those revenants won't find us here? No, not with cats wandering around. Cats. Huey remembered something myth related about cats, but he was too young, too dumb to care when his abuelita rambled. He sighed, wishing he had paid more attention. Pastor growled at him. That guttural noise rumbled with an edge in her throat. Cats are, like, connected to the spirit world? Yes, muy bien, Huey, Fiona cooed with affection. They ward off evil things since forever, even older than the first La Llorona. There was a first one? Eve asked. See, Fiona grunted, struggling with something on a wall. As the story goes, she was a mother and wife, but her husband didn't love her. Eve asked, and he left her, even though he had a kid? Fiona nodded in answer. Always two or more, depending on who you ask. Eve grumbled, What a bastard. Huey moved closer. There was a torch holder in Fiona's iron grip. She grunted and huffed a few more times, wrestling with the thing. Abandoning Eve, Huey approached and offered a hand. Fiona smacked the metal and stepped away. It should go up, but it's rusty. Be careful. She wasn't kidding. When Huey activated his muscles, the cogs behind the wall strained an awful creak. He kept pushing up. The cogs tried to perform the task, but those old things desperately needed a severe dousing in WD 40. No matter how hard he shoved, the torch holder struggled. Huey yelled, Stupid thing! Work, damn you! He stepped back and kicked with all his might. Something gave in. A harsh screech ejected. Cogs whined, and a square depressed into darkness. Pastor yelped, jumped into the air, and fled. When Huey backed up, panting for air, he caught Eve staring. She blushed when Huey backed up. She blushed and averted her gaze to some very not so interesting rubble. Fiona said, Nicholas did say you were athletic. That's good. Keeps your blood going. Vamos. Into the cobwebs. With the secret passage wide open, Fiona sat on the lip. Web strings stuck onto her, and she swiped them away. She inhaled before she hopped right in. Eve grimaced. Cobwebs? Don't tell me you're arachnophobic. All right, y'all. Just because I really love the spider cult story doesn't mean we have to send Izzy on an arachnophobic binge. Twice as coincidence? Well, technically, this weekend has three that we know of, provided deaths submitted more in the spider cult story. Yeah, yeah, y'all can keep the freaking spider shit at bay. I tell you what. Killing me, Smalls. You're killing me.
Oh my goodness.
Deaths was an accident. Sticks was not a coincidence. That was malicious compliance. Fuck is a pattern. Eve glared. Okay, I won't tell you. You're half undead and you're afraid of spiders? He closed in on her, and when he was close, made skittering movements with his fingers on her shoulder. She smacked his hand, trying to not be amused, but failed. She rolled her eyes. Do you see any spider tattoos on me? I only know about that pulse tattoo on your neck, he said. Carefully, he added, the rest are covered. She apprehensively gazed into the gaping hole and zipped Huey's jacket on herself. Maybe I'll let you see some later. What? She hyped herself up, swaying, then recoiling, then swaying like she might jump. Then she willingly dropped into the darkness, his unfinished question left unanswered. A blonde chasing the white rabbit into a rabbit hole. He approached the hole and squinted at those shadows. Everything okay? Eve's voice echoed back. Ew, ew, ew. See, we're good. Hop in. Huey jumped in. The path stretched 6 feet under the church, maybe more. The ceiling hung a head higher than his height. The space was wide enough for two people, and there was dust and cobwebs everywhere once a dim light of amber appeared. Fiona whispered, there were many tunnels used in this church. On the sides, pilgrims entered between their journeys during Mass. Below, like these, were used by anyone needing sanctuary. Her face lit by a torch's flame. She handed Eve the lighter that probably illuminated it. Fiona continued, these catacombs are rarely used these days, so spirits who can pass angel or pastor use them. Huey murmured, why are we whispering? So we don't disrupt the dwellers. Some move freely and can even teleport. Eve asked, and others? They're trapped in a horrible trance with their doubts and their regrets as they roam these paths. If you respect them, they echo that respect. Huey inquired, and if we don't? She sighed and lifted up her borrowed skirt to her knee. Her skin was smooth except for the distorted tissue which jagged across her calf, claw marks that ran deep. She let the skirt drop with gravity and turned away. Be quiet, be gentle, and be respectful. We'll reach the heart of these tunnels in no time. At first, Fiona nodded and gave a warm smile to the dwellers. Anyone who passed her way, it didn't matter here. Even those impossibly large entities who squeezed through the tunnel received that grin. If they were missing some limbs or screamed in her face, she never failed to stretch that charming smile. Further along, Fiona's mood shifted, and shortly after, the tunnel grew colder. Huey decided he hated it here. Shadows walked among them. Their silhouettes were like Peter Pan's lost shadow, except they were three-dimensional, covered in mist, and suspicious. Abuelita had a name for these beings, shadow people. Sometimes there wasn't a face. Some had two red glowing dots for eyes. They always bowed their hats or a dog accompanied them. Sometimes a misty dog walked by itself. Two, two or three offered a hand, but Fiona marched forward without regard. Huey tried to follow Fiona's example, but shadowy energy probed around his personal space. Like spreading molasses across your flesh, the energy pressed against Huey's space. He grimaced. Immediately, he forced his guard up, imagining himself in a bubble. That energy oozed away. Huey said, no thanks. I'm not toasted Wonder Bread. Eve bit back a chuckle. Fiona glared back, hissing, "Shh." Eve played with the sleeve of his borrowed shirt as they hurried along. He gingerly tapped his knuckles against hers. She tapped in return. Yes. Their hands clasped and their fingers entwined. Darkness never changed down there, but the air thickened and smelt like mold. Even their torch dimmed, like something wanted to suffocate the flame but couldn't. Further ahead, something murmured incoherent words. On their left, boots crunched on gravel, but no one emerged. Huey's stomach churned when the tunnel echoed a child's giggle. These creatures could be mimickers, crawlers, or skinwalkers. Huey couldn't lock in to their essence. Their presence was disorganized and reverberated fuzzy feedback. He gritted his teeth, trying his damnedest to not utter a sound. Beside him, Eve whimpered. Immediately, Fiona shushed her. Huey caressed his thumb against the tattoo artist's chilly knuckles. She didn't relax immediately, but she cracked a weak smile. Further down they went. More sweat beaded on Huey's back. An icy chill rode his spine and latched onto his gut. Eve dug her nails into his flesh, grounding him. Breakfast in his belly threatened for a second debut. Fiona crept over ahead, ever silent, saying strong. Then he heard it. A man's voice. Not any man's, though. Voice, though. Huey? Huey's dead uncle. Fiona turned on him sharply and shook her head. Something was mimicking that voice. What else could it do? He opened his mouth. Fiona's eyes widened, then stabbed her finger ahead. Eve gripped onto his arm. He nodded. They ventured through the last of the pathway. Then they arrived at what Fiona called the heart of the catacombs. She finally relaxed. Eve whispered, You okay? Huey answered, No. Want to talk about? No. She didn't press any further. Whether she knew better or she figured it was fair for freezing him out this morning, he couldn't tell. She just patted his arm and they moved on. The space was naturally made, with a few novelties here or there. Uneven walls surrounded them. Huey wandered, letting his hand glide across its cragged surface. He could breathe normally again. In the corner of his eye, Fiona sheathed the torch into a man made holder. Other torches lit up simultaneously. Fiona sighed with relief, sliding onto a wooden bench. He hopped over a crack, then turned to Eve, who had a question written on her face. He pointed playfully at the crack and explained, Or break Grandma's back. She snorted, shook her head, and went to join Fiona. The married woman slapped a cigarette pack on her leg. Huey continued poking around, letting that lingering dread trickle away. Stress dialed down with ease. Piles of things were left in nooks and crags. He didn't touch those. They were emulating too much activity, but there were other loose things lying around. Then his foot tapped something. Hollow, wooden like a crate. There were no names or marks on them. He tapped again a few times. Something thudded. We can rest before we get started, Fiona explained. She carefully pulled out a cigarette. Huey, don't wander too far, he asked. What are these boxes over here? Old memorabilia, she answered, then slipped the white cylinder into her mouth. Eve quietly handed her gas station lighter over. Are any spirits attached to them? Fiona shook her head and fiddled with Eve's lighter. Flick, flick, flick. No, Fiona said. These are from the church. They kept track of people who baptized their babies and even had records on the orphans. Eve watched her with awe. A question etched clearly on her hanging mouth, but she never uttered it. Fiona stopped flicking and met Eve's gaze, half smiling. The woman explained. There was an orphanage attached to the church. Huey asked, "How old are these things? Decades? More? My old birth certificate might be in there." She resumed flicking the lighter, covering the tip of her cigarette, smiling when it caught. Her eyes illuminated with satisfaction when a soft ember licked her nicotine stick. She, she exhaled slowly, leaning against the craggy wall. "I grew up in this church before my family adopted me." When she smiled, her dimples showed fully. "That was the happiest day of my life. So I replaced that day as my birthday. They even let me choose my name." Huey asked, "What was your name?" Fiona grumbled, "Dolores." She made a face, a disgusted expression that squished around her nose, a kind of disgust you expressed when you whiffed something rotten like eggs. And then she handed Eve her lighter. The blonde pocketed it. "It means sorrow. My birth father was woeful because I wasn't a boy." Eve rolled her eyes. "Dad wanted boys and ended up with me and Viv. He got over it." Fiona chuckled. "That man was stubborn. The kindest thing he could do was drop me off here. The orphanage was hell on earth, but it was away from him." Huey said, "You'd think it would be more, I don't know, holy?" Gently, Eve placed a hand on Fiona's shoulder and smiled. "You don't have to talk about it." "I don't mind," Fiona said. "It was a very long time ago, and the consequence of his prior actions. That's what we are, La Llorona. We wrong those rights. We are neither the villain nor the hero. We simply are." "Did you," Huey fell quiet, thinking carefully about his words, "right his wrongs?" Fiona smiled, but it wasn't kind. It held attention in places that made contours on her face darken. Then she broke into an innocent laugh. Huey's heart sputtered in multiple tempos all too quickly. "No, he fell when he was on the job. Construction work paid him and his woman well. I would have liked to have pushed him, but he was very far from me. Serves him right." Dun dun dun. Oh, wow. Wow.
That was Doc, right?
That was that.
Right.
Yeah,
You're getting
that
better.
is hard to believe how far that story has come.
Hmm.
Yeah.
The spatial recognition, you know, um, I could feel myself just above them, kind of walking through and picturing where they were at. Very nice.
Right.
I will say this, it has been a very long time since I've seen somebody start dialogue tags at the beginning of a sentence. So it's not wrong. It's just not often that people do it. I will also say, um, all except the La Llorona, I knew all those words. I took Spanish for 3.5 years. Not much stuck, but pronunciation did.
The only thing that stuck was the cuss words. Like I said, I know enough Spanish to get my ass in trouble. Hydrate or dihydrate.
We got the high red. Okay. Yeah, I mean, literally, when people go, "I need you to speak for sound check," I'm like, "Hola, cómo está?" Así, así. Un poquito. No hablo español. Un poquito.
Hey, I was just making sure we didn't have any reverb.
Now we got applause and posture check.
Great. I am sitting up, and I've got my cushion right here in the small of my back. I'm doing good.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, my new
The posture check was
background
helpful.
has my back.
Is that your old headboard?
There we go.
Yes,
Better.
Oh my god! That's the old fucking headboard from the waterbed.
yes, it is.
Holy fucking shit. That thing
Makes
still
a great
exists.
background, doesn't it?
It does. Oh my god. Sorry, for those of you who are new here, Kesh is my best friend of nearly 3 decades. And Julie and I actually met just over 2 decades ago in a bar in Tennessee. And Kesh and I used to live together more years ago than we'd care to admit. So like I was looking at it and I was like, wait, that kind of looks like the wood from the wait. Oh my god. So yeah.
Yeah, I have string lights to go.
Oh, that'll look so cool.
Yep.
Oh,
Right,
that's
I had
fair,
to
Doc.
redo my room.
Yeah, you did. So Doc, and for anybody else, I do read these cold, right? I don't look at them ahead of time. I'm reading them cold, trying to give you authentic first reader reactions, right? When authors publish books, they don't always get to see that first blush reaction of a reader. So what we are also providing is that like, did that hit? Did that plot line work? Did that character development like really grab them in? What is the reader focusing on? Now, most of us do hear them for the very first time on Saturday night when they're read out loud. But should you want to run things past people and go, hey, I'm struggling with this sentence, I'm struggling with this paragraph or whatnot, several of our hosts, not me, are more than willing to sit down with you at any given time in one of our breakout rooms in the Discord and hash it out, help you figure it out how you want to go with it, etc. Now, if you want help for something that is not submitter prompter related, open ears. Open ears till the cows. I'm slow. I promise. I've been trying to edit slash alpha read Julie's rewrite of her first book for 2 fucking years now, and this is my fault that it's not republished yet. So, oh, hold on. I have an intruder. Okay. Yes, not an intruder, an intrusion. It's fine. Adult children. Yes, not an official mic mute. It was just a spawn.
Yes, spawn entering the room do not count as a mic mute. Unless said spawn has submitted something.
Correct. Because one of my spawns has submitted something, and I would absolutely love for the younger spawn to maybe even rework something or continue one of the stories that he submitted for a course in high school so that I could read it aloud. Um, unfortunately, I don't think that's going to happen. But anyway, back to what I was saying. If you need help with your writing, if you are struggling with a sentence or whatnot, please by all means ask. If it's a section like this or you want to do a breakout room, but I mean, I even have Bitzer's magnum opus, right? And I struggle with big amounts of work that I read and then get back to you on. So, but if you need one-on-one, I'm totally willing, as long as it is not for your prompt submission, because I want to be surprised, right? With what you submit. That being said, um, I read anywhere from 3 to 5 words ahead and 3 to 5 lines ahead. Right? So if it's dialogue and you've got 2 or 3 people in the scene, I can usually tell which character is speaking, especially with the he said, she said, or Huey replied, even if it's down the line, right? The only thing that I do ask is if you've got some weird ass pronunciations, Putasa. Put the your preferred pronunciation behind that word, if it's a particularly difficult one. On top of that, Julie quite often will sit with Bitzer and go, "Okay, which words do we think Izzy won't know how to pronounce?" And we put them put the they put the pronunciations in there. So,
Which words do I think you might actually stumble over?
yeah, because I do know big words like loquacious, but
Oh, yes,
Bitzer likes to
but I know which
pull out.
words that I would stumble over, and then I ask questions.
Mhm, exactly. But vamos, abuelita, I have retained a little bit of the poor American school system pronunciation that is more Castilian than Mexican. All right, let me pull Doc's name. Oh, hola me llama. Llamo. Yeah. See? Yes. And then not every Spanish speaking, locale sounds the same. It's a fascinating language. I've also been told that I should expect to never be fluent in Korean. That's fine. I just want to be able to read it and hear it and understand it. Bless you. All right, next up.
Thank you.
That's like in German documents, or there's like multiple ways to say glasses. It just depends on what type of glasses you are talking about. Like
Mm-hmm.
glasses on the face versus drinking glass versus like glass, like window glass.
Yep. English is a very difficult language to learn because we use the same freaking word for so many different things. And then we've got different spellings for the same pronunciation, but yet they mean different things. It's so
Tedious.
yes.
Nathan!
All right. Here we go. Sorry, trying to shove my face full of food. Winning streak room. I think Doc's mad at our auto mod. No stars were visible above the ruined cathedral. The sky above it was a lid of ash gray cloud, pressed low as if the world itself had grown tired of looking up. The cathedral had collapsed years ago. No one could agree on when exactly, only that it had happened fast, like faith giving out in one sharp breath. Fucking poetry. What remained was a hollowed skeleton of stone walls and broken arches, half swallowed by ivy and winter weeds. But beneath it, life still gathered. Down a set of cracked stone steps, under a rusted iron gate that no longer locked, there was a basement. It had once been a place for choir storage, candle wax, and forgotten hymn books. Now it held folding chairs in uneven rows, a circle of tired people, and a single rule no one ever said out loud. You don't have to be whole to stay. They called it a meeting, though no one here liked the sound of that word. It sounded too clean for what it really was. The woman arrived just before it started. Her name was Mara. She stood at the bottom of the steps for a long time, fingers wrapped around the strap of her bag like it might anchor her to something real. Her eyes flicked up toward the broken cathedral above her, as if she expected it to answer her hesitation. It didn't. Inside her chest, something felt unfinished, like a sentence she couldn't stop starting. A month ago, she had stood in a hospital hallway, screaming at a doctor who wouldn't look at her. 2 weeks ago, she had stopped answering calls from numbers she recognized. Yesterday, she had stared at a reflection and tried to remember when she stopped looking like herself. Today, she came here because someone at the shelter said, "Go where people don't lie about it." So she went down the stairs into the basement. The room smelled like old wood, damp stone, and burnt coffee. Folding chairs circled a dented metal table. People sat in them like they were waiting for something to either end or begin. No one looked at her too long. That was the first mercy. A man near the front spoke quietly, introducing the meeting without ceremony. No slogans, no forced brightness, just names, acknowledgments, a rhythm of honesty that didn't pretend to fix anything. Mara found a chair near the back and sat like she was borrowing it. Her hands wouldn't stop shaking. The room passed words around like they were fragile objects. Stories came out in fragments, relapses, lost jobs, broken mornings, apologies that had run out of places to land. Mara didn't speak. She couldn't decide if she was afraid of being known or afraid of being ignored. Then the chair beside her creaked. Someone sat down. He was older than her by maybe a decade, maybe more, quiet in a way that didn't feel empty. His eyes weren't on her at first. They were on the floor, like he was checking whether it would hold him. "First time?" he asked. She nodded. He didn't smile like people usually did when they were trying to be kind. He just accepted it like it was weather. "You don't have to talk," he said. "Just stay if you can." That was all. But somehow it made her breath easier. When it came time for introductions, the room moved slowly, like a tide deciding whether to come in or retreat. One by one, people stood and spoke their names, their reasons for being there, the things they had lost. When Mara's turn came, her body went cold. She opened her mouth. Nothing came out. Silence stretched. It grew teeth. She felt every eye in the room, not judging, not attacking, just waiting. That was somehow worse. Her throat tightened. Then the man beside her stood up. "I'll go next," he said. A few heads turned. He didn't look at them. He looked forward, steady. And then he said it, simple as breath. "This is Mara. It's her first meeting. She doesn't have to explain anything tonight. She's here. That's enough." No one corrected him. No one asked permission. The room just accepted it. Mara turned her head, slightly confused. He leaned just enough so only she could hear him. "You can speak when you're ready," he said. Her eyes burned. For the first time in a long time, she didn't feel like she was about to be thrown out of somewhere. The meeting went on. When it ended, people lingered like they didn't want to return to whatever waited above ground. Chairs scraped softly. Coffee was poured. Someone laughed once quickly, like they weren't sure they were allowed. Mara stayed sealed until most of the room had emptied. The man who had spoken for her was still there, stacking chairs without hurry. She stood slowly. "Why did you do that?" she asked. He didn't stop moving. "Because you couldn't," he said simply. "That's not what I mean." He finally looked at her then. Not searching, not intrusive, just present. "Then I don't know," he said. "Maybe because someone should have done it for me once." Something in her chest tightened at that. She nodded like she understood, even though she didn't. Outside, the sky had darkened. The cathedral above them looked even more broken in the fading light, like it was listening without meaning to. Mara left without saying goodbye. But she came back. But she came back. And then again. The second time, she spoke one sentence. The third time, she stayed after the chairs were gone and helped stack them. The man didn't ask her questions. He just made space for her to exist without collapsing. She learned his name was Daniel. He never talked about himself unless asked directly. And even then, he answered like each word cost something. At some point, Morrow started to believe she might not fall apart every time she woke up. That was when things began to shift. It started small. A woman from the meetings recognized her at a grocery store and smiled like she knew her. A man she had never spoken to nodded to her like she belonged to something. Then a flyer appeared on a bulletin board across town. New Hope Recovery Support Group, led by Daniel and Mara. Mara stared at it for a full minute without blinking. She hadn't agreed to that. She hadn't led anything. When she confronted Daniel, he didn't deny it. "They needed names," he said. "I didn't agree to this." "I know." "That's not how this works." He paused, then said quietly, "It is now." Something in his tone wasn't defiance. It was exhaustion. And beneath that, fear. She should have stopped it then. But she didn't understand yet what she was standing inside of. The meetings grew. More people came. More chairs were added. The basement of the ruined cathedral filled with voices that had nowhere else to go. Stories layered on top of each other like scars trying to become one body. And Mara, without meaning to, became part of the structure. People started looking at her when they spoke, waiting for approval, waiting for direction. She corrected them once, then stopped correcting them because it felt easier, because it felt like stability, because Daniel didn't stop it either. One night after a meeting, a man in a wrinkled coat pulled Mara aside as she was leaving. "I thought someone should tell you that your grandmother has died." The words didn't land right away. They hung in the air like they belonged to someone else. Mara blinked. "My," she started once. The man nodded once, awkwardly, like he regretted being the one to say it. I'm I thought you should know." She stepped back slightly as if distance could rearrange meaning, but there was something worse than grief in her expression. Confusion. Because she hadn't spoken to her grandmother in years. Because no one here should have known her name at all. Because her life outside this basement was supposed to be invisible. She looked for Daniel afterward, found him stacking chairs again. "Who told people about me?" she asked. He didn't look up. "I didn't." "That wasn't what I asked." A pause. Then quietly, "It gets out." "That's not an answer." "It's the only one I have." The words didn't feel like defense. They felt like surrender. Over the next weeks, things began to blur in ways Mara couldn't stop. Her name appeared in places it shouldn't have. A clinic called her about insurance she hadn't applied for. A counselor referenced details she never shared publicly. A man at the meeting referred to her previous hospitalization like it was common knowledge. Each time she asked, she got the same answer in different forms. It just happened. The group kept growing. The flyers multiplied. The leadership expanded into schedules, responsibilities, structure. Daniel stopped sitting during meetings. He started running them. Mara stopped sitting in the back. She started speaking first. It didn't feel like a choice anymore. It felt like gravity. Then one morning, Daniel didn't show up. The chairs were still arranged in a circle when Mara arrived. People were already waiting, looking at her like she was supposed to know what to do. "Where is he?" someone asked. Mara swallowed. "I don't know." The room shifted slightly. Uncertainty always did that here, like the air itself forgot how to hold people upright. The meeting happened anyway. Mara led it without realizing she had started speaking first. Her voice sounded like someone else's. That night, after everyone left, she sat alone in the basement. The cathedral above them groaned in the wind. She felt something inside her finally catch up to what had been building for weeks. Fear. Not the sharp kind, the slow kind. The kind that understands too late that something has been taken from you without you noticing. Daniel appeared in the doorway sometime after midnight. He looked worse, tired in a way that had edges. "They know too much," he said. Mara stood slowly. "What did you do?" He shook his head. "Not me. It's not just here, it's outside. Records, reports, names I didn't think would connect." "You built this," she said. "I tried to hold it together." "You didn't ask me." "I didn't think you'd stay if I did." Silence settled between them like dust. Then he said, softer, "You were the first person who made it feel like this place wasn't just damage." Her throat tightened. "That doesn't mean you get to use me." "I didn't mean to use you." But the words didn't change anything anymore. The damage had already spread in ways neither of them could trace. The next morning, Mara didn't go to the meeting. She walked instead, past the broken cathedral, past the streets that now felt unfamiliar even though she had lived on them all her life. She stopped at a payphone outside a closed pharmacy. There was a message waiting for her there, not a voicemail. A man standing nearby who had clearly been searching for her. He looked uncomfortable, like the words he had been given didn't belong in his mouth. "I thought someone should tell you that your grandmother has died." Mara closed her eyes. This time it didn't feel confusing. It felt final. Because suddenly she understood something she hadn't before. The world outside hadn't stopped existing while she was trying to survive inside a basement. It had just been waiting to catch up. Her grandmother had been the last person who ever said her name like it mattered. And now that name had been carried into a place it was never meant to go. Back into the world. Back into consequences. Back into loss. When she returned to the cathedral basement that night, Daniel was gone again. But the chairs were still there, all arranged perfectly in a circle, waiting. She sat down in one of them, alone. Above her, the ruined cathedral stood against the sky like something unfinished. And for the first time, Mara understood the full weight of what had happened. Not the meetings, not the flyers, not even the lies. It was the kindness. The moment someone spoke for her when she couldn't. The moment she let it continue. The moment she stopped correcting the story because it was easier to be carried than to stand alone. And somewhere in that quiet realization, grief finally arrived, not just for her grandmother, but for everything that had been built out of trying not to fall apart. Footsteps echoed behind her, but she didn't turn because she already knew, in the deepest part of her, that some consequences don't need to announce themselves. They just arrive and they stay. Outside, the wind moved through the ruins of the cathedral like a voice trying to remember what it used to say. Dun dun dun. Nathan.
Nathan yet again.
So basically what I'm reading here, Healthy, is hello, my name is Healthy. I'm an author and have a somewhat fluency in Spanish, but prefer English. And that's without Google Translate.
Welcome to the community, Happy.
Welcome, Happy. Yeah, Nathan, I had a very extensive talk with Nathan uh just a few days ago. Um, for those that don't know, Nathan just graduated college not or last weekend. That's why we till now we've been like spotty with getting submissions from Nathan. So if everybody would like to congratulate in the comments, I will get that right along to him. Um, but he is actually looking. He is. We had a very nice conference. And he is taking uh my words very seriously right now. And it looks like he will be going through and taking at least his short stories from the first year he submitted, and a couple of the longer submissions where they played into each other, and possibly turning them into a collection. Uh,
Ooh,
no note of when that will be going down, but this is the path in which we'll be leading to. So I will keep you guys apprised of when that all happens and as it comes out. But yes, there
that
does look like it might be before the end of the year.
Woohoo!
question. Is that going to be under the name Nathan Stark or his actual name?
No, it will be under Nathan Stark.
Okay, I get that. I get that very well.
Yes. So we are all very proud. Uh, we wish him the best of luck going forward.
We do. We do indeed.
Uh huh.
Oh, oh, Welcome, Healthy, to the Discord. Ba-da-ba!
Oh,
For those
yay.
who are not aware, just due to the fact that we are a server for 18 plus, that does mean that if you have an Apple
You have
device
landed in chaos.
in chaos, if you have an Apple
Here are
device,
some
you
things you might need to know. The animals and listen.
Julie, can you hear me?
Please do not feed.
Hey, you keep freezing. I don't know what happened, but we were talking over each other. You keep freezing. But what I was gonna say is if you have an Apple device and you primarily use Discord on your Apple device, you will need to log in to it under the desktop version and make sure that you go into the settings and find allow 18 plus uh, servers on iOS and then you're set. But if you join our Discord, please make sure that you fill out the little survey at the beginning. It tells us how you found us and whatnot, because there are bad actors out there everywhere. And obviously, we just want to protect everybody that is in our server, not just ourselves. And so please do that. We'll get you approved within a day, not even a business day. Okay, I can't even say a business day. We will get you approved within a day.
Usually within 30 to 45 minutes.
Yeah, depending on what time you join.
I'm usually pretty on top of that.
Unless you're
Yeah.
asleep.
Now, if you join in the middle of the night and you don't see anybody on, we'll get to you when we get to you. Usually
Mhm.
night the next
Mhm.
morning.
Yep. Absolutely. So, I just wanted to do that real quick, and yes, you are in. So, bingo, bango. Okay, I've already got that taken care of. We are down to 4 people left tonight. So real quick, we have been on for now an hour and 45 minutes. Is that what I'm reading? Yes, that's what I'm reading correctly from my military time. Kesh, you up for reading the next
Yes.
one? I may need to take a little break here. So let's
Yeah, I can read.
spin.
Actually, I was gonna see if we could just do a 15 and get up and stretch and everything like that. I mean, if Kesh wants
Right,
to,
but
then we'll continue on, but I just figured we
if
might
I
need a stretch break.
right, well, and ad break ends in just over 2 minutes. So stretch whatever. If I am not back, Kesh can pick up and read CM Weller. So
Oh, do
quick
you want
break.
me to read that? You do so well.
It it isn't a Zinnia story. He
Okay.
yeah, it says
Oh,
sorry not
okay.
sorry.
Yeah,
This
it's something
one's
completely
not
different
about
this week.
Zinnia and friends. So we get a brand new
Okay.
story, so a brand new voice to put it to life.
Uh-oh,
Sounds
everyone
good to
froze.
me. Everyone froze. And amazingly
Okay
enough, I
then.
don't have network.
Nope, nobody's froze.
Okay.
I can
Now
hear all you
everyone
guys
sounds
say
like
how you.
chipmunks.
Not so brand new. Okay.
Okay. Now everyone's sounding normal. Yeah. Okay. But yeah.
Okay. Peachy Keen. And I do have y'all in my ears.
All righty.
Look, Ma, no hands.
Are we still, can they still hear us or no?
Yes. Yes, they can
Oh,
still
okay.
hear us. I did not put the BRB screen up and mute our mics with that screen just simply because I might takes me
It might be a
hello
minute.
Karen. Hello Karen. Say hi to the adoring public, you beautiful little NB voidling.
Hi, sweet pea. Oh,
Hi,
cuddle, cuddle.
Kieran.
Yeah, that's definitely Kieran tonight, not Kira. The other night it was Kira.
Mhm. Look at that pretty baby. Say hi to your adoring public. Like the lights are too bright, Mom.
Mine has run off somewhere. I don't know where she is, but thank God because she's been a handful. Mm,
Oh, cool, Doc. Which ones were have you been like listening to?
very interesting. Um, I know for my story, especially with the content in which I'm covering for my story, um, I had to do a deep dive that might require me to bleach my brain when I'm done.
Oh, I find baby goats in
Yeah.
pajamas good.
Well,
Baby
um,
sloths in pajamas are cute
the
too.
baby goats in pajamas are not helping.
Oh,
The
that's
baby goats
bad.
in pajamas are not helping. The little baby horses aren't helping. Um, Kitten videos aren't helping.
Oh my goodness.
Um, yeah, yeah. I'm lucky to have a stable stability in both my co-writer for the prequel and the lovely group in which we've assembled here. But I might after everything's said and done and everything's out, I might need a 3-day vacation to anywhere that does not have to deal with my book.
I sounds like you might. If baby animals
I
aren't
mean,
working.
we might have to just you know trace our asses over to fucking Gatlinburg and go play on the rides and shit for a little bit, like anywhere but where I'm at that involves my story, because quite literally, the heavy topics in which I've had to research, because for those that don't know, I'm writing a Roscoe story. It is about a tracker, bounty hunter. She delves in other shit, but this is it. Um, if you stick around long enough, you'll get to hear most of the story. Um, but in the process, she ends up discovering the girl was taken by a human trafficking ring.
Mm, oh, you've been researching that.
Yeah, which led me into certain files that we will not name on this fucking show, and and survivor stories of those files. And now I don't know whether to start a drinking habit or scrub my brain with bleach. Probably a bit of both.
Yeah, I was about to say drinking habit is not
That's
is
not
very
sustainable, and it's not a
understandable.
good thing for my liver. Yeah,
Yeah, but it's understandable in that circumstance.
yeah.
Oh my goodness. Oh,
Okay,
Happy's
so
asking about.
okay, while we've got a little bit of a thing of a bob. We got a little bit of a lull here while we're waiting on the commercial or the advertisement to be over and Izzy to come back. Uh, how this works is at the end of the show, so please stick around for the end of the show. It will be done tonight. We will randomly choose 3 numbers, and in the process, those numbers correspond to prompts within a prompt list. Then we put it in a poll. Actually, I think Sticks does it. I've done it. Everybody else done it. But it's put into a poll, and then you vote on the prompt for that week, whether you are writing for it or not. If you are in that fucking comments, you will be voting for that damn thing. Do not make me have to reach to the screen. And at the end, whatever prompt wins, that is the prompt you need to try to use for that week. If the concept works for you a little bit better than the prompt that's picked, or the starting first line, or the dialogue, then you run with what you can run with. But you typically have to use something within those three that are submitted. Also, in our server, if you go over to season 3, 2006, you will see all the prompts that have been chosen for the year and all the ones that have been rolled for the year. So if you need something extra to get you a little like noggin running, you get kicking the tush. There you go. That's how that rolls. Um, it's a lot of fun. Even if you're not writing for the prompt. That's the whole thing. If you're not writing for the prompt, you can screw over those of us who are writing for the prompt that week.
I was just gonna say, you can pick what you want to hear or screw us over. Julie took the words right out of my mouth.
Exactly. The
Yes, and
max
as
word count,
Bitcher
yes, the
said,
max word count is 2,500. Uh,
there technically is a minimum
yeah,
of 1 word. However, about the only 1 word is "fuck," and literally that's not an
or
entertaining
damn,
story. Or "damn." Yeah,
or damn.
and that's not quite a
Because
interesting
then we
story.
need
Even
context.
we need context. One of our slogans is "context is important." And so, build it out, flesh it out a little bit more, if you will. Um, I just had a thought and there it flew. It was related,
About the
not
prompts.
being yes. Oh, prompt submission. Let's say you're writing, right? Earlier today, someone was said, I'm not going to get finished with it. And it's like, do you know how many times I have submitted? Like I was working on it, but I didn't get to the prompt or I didn't get to where I wanted to with the scene, whatever. And I submitted it anyway. So, the whole point of the Hold My Pen Promptcast is I bet you can't do it. Hold my pen, right? Julie and I said it earlier at the beginning of the screen. Julie said it. We're just a couple of rednecks. Kesh is not. Just FYI, Kesh is not a redneck, but she is my bestie, so honorary. The way the way Kesh jerry rigged something in a perfect combo of Izzy Julie redneck fashion. We were so proud. So proud. So, we're just a couple of rednecks who are authors, enjoy books, enjoy reading, and is essentially we're trying to inspire people, give them a space where we're a whole community of basically alpha readers, giving you real life reactions of when a concept that you're putting together hits. You want to talk about grammar, we do that. We even have editors, formatters, and cover artists in our server, and there are also some narrators. And so there's advice abounds on getting things published. So, yes, there is a channel for peer feedback. Bitzer knows where all of our stuff is. They are by and large our welcoming committee and our rule committee, and like you need help finding where something is, Bitzer's got your back, also known as internutter. So we all have jobs, we all put stuff together. You'll see in the corner there's make it matter. That's our theme for the month. February, Doc made our little graphic. So and our background that we've got here was done by C.R. McCormick, one of our erstwhile sometimes hosts in the backwoods of Canada. So we're a family. There we go. Hot damn, said the beaver in hell. Yes,
Very
there's also a
oddball, but
channel.
we work together.
We work together. There's also a channel that is labeled writing prompts. Okay. If you come across a writing prompt, share it. We add prompts that are submitted by the community into our master list. And, when it's read out, it's included your name, your or preferred pen name, in the thing. So, people get credit where credit is due. Be a part. We are an interactive podcast. If we're going to be honest, we can't do this without content from our viewership, and that's why even after once you submit a prompt in the Discord, you get a new role. You're a prompter now. So you've got members, you've got prompters, and anybody who is, I think it's blue. Anybody who is blue is a prompter and has
It's
submitted
blue.
for the show in the
It's
past.
blue.
Yeah. So,
Which reminds me that I have to change somebody's color.
yes, you have to change somebody's color. All right. I'm going to shut up and we're going to go to town. Oh, also submissions. If you sign up for the newsletter, so that you can also see uh, places where published authors are going to be, recently published works, et cetera, et cetera. You also get the prompt in there. You also hear about our million word challenge. You also hear about Track Bear, how we as a writing community are trying to reach 3 million words, and anything counts, not just the stuff that you submit for the show. We got a million word challenge for read out on the show, and then a 3 million as a writing community. But you can reply to the newsletter each week with your prompt submission or send it to the Hold My Pen Promptcast email, which can be found various different places. Okay, I'm done yapping.
Alright. Is my screen working okay? Because I'm getting some errors for network issues on my end.
Yes. Oh,
Okay.
now you just went real blurry.
And I jumped forward.
Yeah. I don't know what happened.
Hmm. Weird. Let me do something here real quick.
She's on a mobile device.
Okay, let's see if that helps. No, all the pets are in upstairs, Bitzer. Anyways. There were 4 places the Confederates could have put the dynamite in advance, as part of one of their 3 plots to assassinate the president. There were also 4 people on the Emperor's team. For efficiency's sake, they agreed to split up and search for clues. Mr. Ronan and Miss Palanche were in another valley, and Frederick could see a vague hint of movement that had to be the destination of Frederick's affections, Senor Hercules Vargas. Even on the other side of the valley, even camouflaged in a dun-colored poncho, Frederick could find him. Senor Vargas otherwise blended very well with the dun-colored soil. Even though he was moving like an errant tumbleweed, he still moved like a dancer. Frederick relied on a different form of camouflage, something approaching the uniform of the enemy. Most of it could be described as ill-fitting, which was appropriate considering that a majority of the other Confederates didn't own anything tailored, or if it did, those garments had been tailored for someone else. To aid in the verisimilitude, Frederick had added a shapeless felt hat. Hercules va- vanished behind an upright, so Frederick was free to poke around the columns at his side of the valley. Not that he was obliged to watch Hercules. It was just that the young vaquero drew Frederick's eye. And that, as things happened, was his fatal flaw. The next thing Frederick knew, he was being dragged by his elbows and his head hurt. Someone had taken his hat. Someone had tied his wrists. Frederick remained limp, trying to gain clues by his senses. Echoes, cooler air, they were likely underground. The scrape of his boots went over stone, so it might be one of the caves riddling the area. Mine shafts were normally lined with dirt on their floors, and he had yet to feel any sleepers under his slacked feet. Think positively. He had found where the Confederates were hiding their operations since the front had been burned to the ground. The counterpoint was that he was alone, unarmed, and nobody else could possibly know where he was. Frederick risked opening his eyes a crack, then to squint, carefully to keep his body limp, only moving his eyes. Well, that was why he couldn't find any dynamite or gelignite or even barrels of fuse cord. They were all in here, wherever here was. What in the fresh tarnation? Said a voice. Caught this poking around the bridge, said one of his captors. Knew he wasn't one of us. The boots was too good. Ah, of course. More fool him for not wishing bunions, blisters, or injury during his extended excursion. Some sacrifice had to be made to defeat the great evil. If he survived this, he would have to keep that in mind during infiltration. Someone dragged him upright by the collar, held him up by his hair. Ow! Slapped his cheek. Frederick blinked into wakefulness. Ow, you sons of... He froze in flummoxed shock as he recognized one of the Confederates in the maze of destructive supplies. The very same young gentleman that he, as Mrs. Rye, had reassured out of of had reassured out of a burning building and then into the arms of Senor Vargas, Mr. Ronan, and Miss Palanche. Only now did he understand the young man's reluctance to leave the fire and face Frederick's colorful crew. The young man in question, possibly 18 at a stretch, boggled at Frederick in turn. He gasped, Mrs. Rye? A series of very ungentlemanly words flooded through Frederick's head, mostly because he could see that his stripling saw that Frederick recognized him. It was far too late to claim that Mrs. Rye was his twin sister. The young Mr. Dwyer was going through several motions at once. Sure as shit that freak isn't one of us, he said. Last time I saw that thing, it was wearing a dress. Well, he was doomed no matter what, so he might as well unnerve them while he was here. Frederick put on Miss Francesca Rye. Why, Mr. Dwyer, I thought you liked my cookies. The hardest part was keeping a relatively straight face, knowing full well from his time undercover that Dwyer's family had Cookie as a family nickname for a lady's intimate and private portions. Mr. Dwyer had laughed about it at the time. Now he looked like he was going to be sick. You been fraternizing with the enemy, boy? Demanded one of the older rebels. You been fraternizing with that enemy? A hoarser, more labored voice spoke from the shadow. It's the London Whoopsie. He walked with a cane, now and much slower. His uniform was made new, but he was a map of scars and burns that vanished under his clothes. A leather patch covered one eye, and a scar twisted his lips. Reckon that creature fraternizes with anything that walks on 2 feet. The colonel from the blind canyon. Ah, you survived, said Frederick, resuming his normal voice. And I thought I'd finally driven the taste of you from my mouth. Frederick would treasure that look of blind outrage for the rest of his life, which was probably about 20 minutes given how things were proceeding. Or are you eager for another kiss, darling? A few of the lesser ranks in the background boggled. One or two may have snorted, but they all fought to keep a straight face. Wait a second, said one of the captains. That was at the canyon and the supply drop exploded. Then it were at the store which done burned down. He held a finger in the air. We sure we searched that thing for matches and tinder? Drat. Now he had to remain bound while they searched him. So much for his half-baked escape plan to make them averse to holding him and thereby abscond. His only other hope was that Hercules had noticed the abduction and actually thought Frederick worthy of rescue. Just shoot it and be done, reckon, said an unranked subordinate, shifting boxes around. No more trouble from the dead and all. Almost a waste of bullets, but we don't got rope to spare, added a lieutenant. Get her done and drop the body off by engine land. I reckon 2 troubles, one round of shot. More unflattering cackling from the lower ranks. Line it up then, ordered the corporal. No last cigarette, no last words, taunted Frederick. I thought you considered yourself superior, gentlemen. A captain had a box and was careful when lighting the tobacco, as well as disposing of the match. Thank you, sir. Frederick took position against the blank part of the wall, angling himself just so in order to hide the fact that he was actively escaping his bond. All right, croaked the corporal. Give us your last words. Frederick took a deep inhale. Never allow a gentleman of certain predilection to have something he can spit. And while they were puzzling on that, he launched his lit smoke straight at a pile of gun cotton. He would have stayed to admire the poetry of his sparking parabola, but he was already loose from his bonds and heading towards the only daylight he could see at his fastest scramble. A few shots rang out, followed by curses and insults and one command. Scatter! Something hot and painful hit him in his rump, hit his shoulder. Frederick did not dare stop because something behind him went home. There was heat, there was light, there was a distinct absence of ground underneath his pumping feet. There was a sound so loud he couldn't hear it. There was a bright light and sagebrush, brambles, and yes, tumbleweed. Frederick tucked and rolled, protecting his head until he was sure that he had come to a complete halt. Ingo. The voice was barely audible above the ringing in his ears. The world was still spinning. A hand, small and callous, jostled his shoulder. Oko, gringo, me oyes? Did I say that right? Is me oyes? Oh, yes, in Spanish.
No. Oh yes. Uh oh yes is pronunciation.
Oh, okay. It hurt to roll onto his back, but he had a few alternatives. The sun-framed Hercules, head like a halo, and the lovely beardless face held an expression of fear and concern. Frederick smiled in spite of the pain. Hombre hermoso, he managed. Siempre quego rendida ante los hombres hermosos. Ow, it really was starting to hurt. It was getting dark. Mi salveste. Gracias. He woke up lashed over the back of a horse. His horse. He recognized those patches even though he was viewing them upside down. C'est un emplazco, quejas, milagros, said Miss Palanche's voice. Loco gringo si pondrá bien en un par días. She relayed what was probably the same information in Japanese to Mr. Ronan. At least the Confederates wouldn't be blowing up any bridges, though there was still a chance they could enact their plans at Alameda or in the Bay. For now, Frederick rather fancied that he had earned a recuperative rest. Dun dun dun.
Sorry about the Spanish. I, had I paid attention and saw that it was entitled Strange Bedfellows, I would have remembered that this is heavy on the Spanish. I
Yeah, I
apologize.
do Germanic languages.
Yes, you do Germanic. I do the Spanish. It's gonna get
Except
real
when I'm trying to
interesting.
troll you.
Yes, except when you're trying to troll me. Um, they were pretty good, Bitzer. They were pretty good. When she started to struggle a little bit, I was like, oh shit, that's right. They're Spanish. Hercules speaks
I
Spanish.
didn't
Um,
realize what was going on at first.
so I pulled it up, and they're actually pretty good. So you know, uh, there we go. That's yes.
I
I
did
love this story.
when I did go over this one this week. I was like, no, 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 you're gonna have to put in the pronunciation guide.
I actually could have read about half of that without, but thank you so much for putting that in since Kesh did it this week. So yes, that was
Yeah,
fantastic.
thank you.
Which now makes me realize my earlier comment when we read Doc's
We are
story.
on
The
average.
okay, just general cleanup. You know, even though I knew those Spanish words that Doc put in there this week, putting in a pronunciation is always a good idea because I am not always the person who's going to read. So I'm the primary person, but not the only person, right? I don't. I try not to bogart it. I try not to.
Yeah, but
Okay,
everyone comes
so
here to hear you.
huh?
Everyone comes here to hear you, though.
Yeah,
But you do need a
whatever.
break.
Sometimes I do need a break. Yes. Oops. Move that over
Yes, and
there.
watch
That
Izzy react.
yes. Hey, I did react to this like I was going
I like that story.
same. There we go. Especially if there's a rage cooldown. Doc, don't call me out like that, man. Yeah, see? Luna says she likes listening to you guys too.
Yeah, I hear that. Thank you, Luna.
It's not often
Yes.
you guys get to hear my stutter. It is not often that we have to hear Julie stutter. I was reading my own shit today to Izzy because we were working the scene out. Um, and it was something I already submitted, everything like that, and I was reading it back, and I stuttered through fucking reading it, and I'm like, "There's a reason I don't do this." Like, I do the introduction, I get you guys wound up, I get you guys fucking pumped, and then I turn it over, and I just sit here
You're
in the background,
also
and we see exactly.
you're also the one of our biggest idea ladies, okay? Like,
No, I was getting to
literally
that.
yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And in fact, I will say this, like in my day job, I work finance, right? But I'm also kind of in the back end technical reporting, data, whatever, right? And this past week, I had a meeting with two people from two different departments. We were all in the same meeting and literally, I felt like a lump on a log, like not able to contribute. I was able to contribute what my team would be looking for out of this project. And, I'm sitting here going, oh my God, it's just like me and Julie. And my friend who hears me, that I work with, who hears me talk about this show all the time, wants me to sit down with her budding author 14-year-old. I'm like, I don't know if you want this fucked up needs bleach in her mouth person to sit and talk with your 14-year-old kid, but okay. Um, she's like, "What do you mean?" And I said, "Well, Julie is our idea lady, right? She's coming up with all of these crazy ideas and whatnot." And she goes, "I got an idea." And I go, "Oh, Jesus fucking Christ. What the fuck? Okay, what you got?" And then somehow I make it happen, right? But in this instance at work, I'm the ideas lady. And you're making it work. And she goes, yeah, I'm glad not having the ideas for once. And I'm like, I'm glad having the ideas for once. It's amazing how all the different facets of your life go into your writing, your work, your career, whatever. Nothing is compartmentalized as much as we would love it to be. Yes, I have forewarned her that, she can, of course, watch my stuff, but I highly recommend not showing it to her daughter, nor asking her daughter to join our Discord. Wait until she's 19, 20. If we're still doing it in 6 years. But I'm sure we will. And she goes, "Oh, definitely. You're gonna be doing this until you die."
I mean, eventually we would like to train people to take over for us, and we'll sit in the fucking
Right?
back end. But I mean, I don't know
Right?
if it's until we die.
I know, right? Um, and so on top of that, you've got Doc says that's a lot of trust. It is a lot of trust. I've been working with this particular woman for like 4.5 years, maybe 5 already. And we work so well together that we've been working on projects cross departmentally for 3 years now. Just anything that pops up,
Oh,
that work friend.
okay.
Um,
Okay,
yeah,
gotcha. I'm sitting there like, "Ooh, who? Oh, that one. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
that work
Yes, yes."
friend. Yeah, and so the fact that she trusts me after all this, my craziness, my wildness, my competency at work versus, she's sitting here going, "I know you're not gonna tell my daughter to do something that's illegal or, gonna get her in trouble or,
I mean, we
she's
do
like,
we do give branded chaos in a controlled environment.
"We do. We do." And then on top of that, said right, we just research stuff that could be. It's not, whatever. And then of course this friend goes, "Here's the other thing. She is 14, almost 15, no, she might have turned 15 recently." She goes, "But most of her stuff is angsty teen crap." I was like, "Damn." I'm like,
Ugh.
"Hey, we all did it. We all did it. Anyone with a childhood dream of becoming an author, I mean, literally, all I gotta say is the crap I put Kesh's Manticore characters through was cringeworthy of the utmost. I didn't know I could use the other term for rooster that much.
I mean,
I,
fair.
yeah, good to
As
know.
somebody who literally went through, um, I wrote, I wrote vampire. So in that process, in the process of writing that, I was very much the um people just needed killing, and I
Mm,
just came up with creative ways to end their lives. Um, but either which
right.
way, they were all
In
characters, people. It's
fiction.
all characters. It was all
In
in fiction.
fiction. Yeah. All right. Next up, we got 3 left tonight. And here we roll. Stavros! SP Stavros, one of our resident Canadians. Hey, awesome. And she is still lurking. Good. Gets to hear her story. Apologize, little girl. The old man with a styled beard smirked. Rhea glowered at the misogynistic prick. The northern city of water afflicted felt a sense of pride for being the only ones who could handle their nights, or at least the men. She had been sent to learn what she could as the water afflicted dwindled in her own village. Those who were left with scraps didn't even survive their nights. They became so unstable, their bodies degraded to husks. In accordance with the Codex of Source Regulation, Article 14, Section 3, afflicted females are restricted from participation in sanctioned trials, combat instruction, and mastery training. This measure is enacted due to documented I already know this, nocturnal instability under lunar resonance cycles and the associated risk of uncontrolled source accumulation. All just a bunch of bullshit you old fucks can use to push around your wives. Rhea growled. The old man frowned deeply at her. Little girl, this is all for the good of you simple women. Your minds are at great risk of degradation. I'm sure you, of all people, understand this, southern girl. His beady eyes stared through
Wait a
her.
minute. Hold up. One fucking minute, right down there. I beg your finest fucking pardon.
I think that's a new one for the tally sheet. Julie interrupting in an explosive Bitzer. Make note.
I don't fucking think so. As the fucking southerner in this goddamn room. Sorry, go ahead. Sorry, my bad.
That was beauteous. Oh, yeah, Julie Rage won. There, man, comments are blowing the fuck up. Way to go, Stavros. Okay, let's go. She did know all too well that women had degraded just as easily as the men in her village. That without enough source in their bodies, they would continue to degrade. She had to learn all she can so she can bring home siphoned source for her people. She could still remember, like yesterday, the day her village was doomed. The snow was falling on the stone pathways around her village. She had been playing outside with her brother when bitter, black snow mixed with the piles around her. Then she heard yelling and screaming. Rhea ran from her yard as her mother yelled out for her. Her father had been out getting a fish for dinner. He promised to be right back. It had only been 2 hours since he left. Rhea ran through the walkways of her village until she was at the center around the well. She attempted to run out when she was hugged firmly by one of the local grandmas. In the center of the village stood a group of men, the men of her village. Her father stood at the front with his head held high. Papa! Rhea reached out for him. When she looked past the group of men, she saw the fire afflicted, their pretentious tunics a sickly contrast to her home. By the leader's side stood a young boy only a year or two older than Rhea, her face a mask of confusion and then horror as the leader's hand grasped her father's face with a punishing grip. The source poured from her father in a ray of light. Rhea watched helplessly from the sidelines as her father and the men of her village were siphoned of their source until they were lifeless husks. She watched as the leader took the siphoned source and poured it into glass lanterns Rhea later learned were sold off among nobles. The source that was entwined with her father's life essence was siphoned off for profit. That day, it hadn't ended with the men. They gathered everyone they could siphon. That young boy had stood proudly beside the leader of the fire afflicted, like he was showing off something he had created to his father. Like destroying the lives of innocent people was as meaningful as squashing a sprouting seedling. She had been dragged away from the scene until she could no longer see the village. Rhea and the other young children had been sheltered in an old mine until hours had passed and the horses of the fire afflicted had long since departed. After that day, she had made it her mission to find a way to save her village. Her father had been their leader. Not exactly a chief, but as close as anyone can get to one. It was her responsibility to find siphoned source. The adults in her village wouldn't survive another 2 moon cycles without it. I will learn how to use my source to enter combat trials. Come and fight me, unless you aren't man enough. Rhea sneered at the old man as she stood in front of the Northern City Council. Little girl, you wouldn't even be worth the fight. What can you show that could possibly impress me and make me change my mind?
What about the other end of your fucking manhood?
Master Kupak solemnly shook his head. Maybe I don't need to show an old bag of ball sacks anything because they like to shrink at the first chance of a beating anyways. Not that you got much of that in the past, Rhea retorted. The red in his face traveled from his face down his throat. His face contorted into shaking fury. How dare, he began to speak. Oh, I thought someone should tell you your grandma died thinking of how much of a disappointment you were. But I'm sure you already knew that. Rhea cut off the only man in the city who could teach her. She presented the misogynistic prick with her favorite finger before turning around with a dramatic hair flip and slammed the door shut behind her. Screw the northern water afflicted, anyways. They were just stinky geoducks left in the sun, anyways. Dun dun dun. As far
That's
as
right. You give him the old fucking bird and tell him to. Sorry, go ahead.
No, no, no.
No, go. Say what you're gonna say.
What
Julie
the
Rage is
actual
strong tonight.
fuck? You honestly think us fucking Southerners don't know how to cut you from asshole to fucking appetite?
Yeah,
You
please
old
remember.
ass wrinkled dick.
It's one of the prompts, Foggy.
The
Let's though. Okay, let's. I know you felt a little triggered with the Southern girl comment and whatnot, but part of this really kind of screamed Last Airbender. Very, very similar. So you had the Northern Water Tribe and the Southern Water Tribe on a fantasy environment. Just saying. Yeah. Because if we're to be honest, Bitzer's more
That
Southern
doesn't
than you.
mean fucking misogynism is right.
No,
So,
it's not. I
Bitzer's
know.
more southern.
I'm just saying, if we're talking in a world, in a fantasy world or the dystopian world we live in, technically we've got Bitzer and Galler who are more Southern than you. I'm just
One of which is scared to death of me.
I,
The other
I'm
one
just
needs
saying.
me to fix his stuff. Or fix their stuff.
Context is important, okay? So like I know,
Just
but
okay, let's put it this way.
I
Just
also
because
know, hold on. I also know that the misogyny and the incompetency of these particular humans assigned male at birth was very triggering considering the many conversations that we have had in the last 3 4 years. So I get it. I get it. This was just awesome. We now have another tally mark. It's called Julie Rage. I'm here for it. Target Julie.
It used to be to see how high you could get my eyebrows to my hairline.
Yeah. Why am I getting an earful later? Yeah, y'all know Julie and I, our bite is as bad as our bark, uh, but neither of us are
We're
freaking
not toward
scared of
each
each
other.
other's. But yeah, no, yeah.
It's like what?
That concept was very good,
I throw
Stavros.
some gummies at you, you'll be fine.
Yeah.
Very good, very good. I'm sorry. It just brought it out of me. Very good
You're
story. I'm sorry. It just brought it out of me.
Hey, that's the thing though, right? We're writing to get reactions and get people invested in the story, right? Already in just a little bit of words, Stavros has got us all like, wait, I'm sorry, what the fuck? What, Rhea had better be fucking like putting these assets on the fucking ground, like at some point. These assholes are gonna get their
Yeah, you better be
comeuppance,
putting their
right?
asses on fucking notice.
Exactly. You got us invested. So that's hmm Yeah, I saw that thing and go, I beg your finest fucking pardon. I'm like, oh shit. Oh shit. Already had me doing a miceless yell scream thing at Sticks. And now we got Julie all upset at some characters. Yep, this is an interesting night for sure. For sure. There we go. It has updated. I don't know what Zutara is. Zutara? Gogofu! Oh, okay. I'm still learning ship names. I wouldn't have known that. But the only ship I'm interested in is this one. Okay. Okay. And we are off. Look, Was Zuko voiced by Rufio, if I remember correctly?
I believe so.
Dante Basco?
I think so. Yeah, I think so.
And you know what's not fucking fair is that guy is still fucking hot.
I know.
That guy is still
Doesn't and you
so.
know what? No matter what he fucking plays in, it's just like, hi.
Hi, Rufio.
Yeah.
Luna, Luna, Luna. Okay. This is our longest one tonight. 2,500 words. Exactly. With both hands from Burning Anew, Allegra. So, that's it then? You and Lance are done? Trey sounds tinny. Hold on. Real quick, take a restroom break. For our new people who may not have subscribed, we're going to have an ad in 5 minutes, and then the ad will be for 2.5 minutes. Real quick, grab drinks, grab the stuff, etc. Warning? Wait, the warning. Oh, yes, I forgot. Okay, got it. Yes. Yes, warning. There is a trigger warning on this that I caught, but then forgot to read. I had to open up the email earlier in order to get the word count, and I happened to see there was a trigger warning. Okay. Attempted Susie Slide and more of Lance being ugh. So, for those not familiar with Susie Slide, self-unaliving attempted. So, if that is too much, please take care of your mental health first and foremost. Okay. Yes, hydrate, get your stress balls. Yes, that is something that I realized tonight when I jumped in to help, because Julie was trying to finish writing her submission, and I was like, well, while she's doing that, I'll go back and get the numbers, like, to make it a little bit easier. We're a partnership. This is just what it is. So to make it easier, and on top of that, since some of you guys have your email address as a real name or a fake name that is not your pen name, if you could put your pen name and your word count in the subject line, feel free to continue to use the if you put in which prompt it is, which date or whatever, to keep track for your records, especially if you keep them in your sent folder, et cetera, by all means. But as long as we have the pen name and the word count, that makes it easier. And then when the name comes up, I know whose email to go snag, or Cash or Julie or CR McCormick. We know which one to grab. Just, a little bit of helping us out there. Yes, makes it easier for the team. Pen name, title. Don't even have to have a title. Sometimes, I mean, I literally, because the email that I use to send, the name comes through as Izzy Kraus, because it's my name, this exact thing. um, and then I just put the word count in the subject line. I mean, I could literally get into the document myself and put my word count in there, but then, it's not in order, and we don't wanna have to, so we start at the bottom, we put them in. Oh, it's just easier for account. I don't know where I'm falling in the submissions, you know? And that's also why we do the wheel, so that way, if you got it in early, you're probably gonna be on Saturday night, but depending on how many submissions we got, we may do a Sunday night. We haven't done a Sunday night for a couple of weeks, couple of months, actually. But, that it is what it is. So putting that on there, you don't know when your submission's gonna be, so you gotta show up for the whole stream. I mean, of course, you can be like Sticks and, go completely silent after yours is read. I don't know. He might still be here. I'm not watching. Yes.
I don't know. I figured with my blow up, Sticks would have said something like, "Oh
You
shit
think.
face, set her off."
In Sticks' defense, it's been a very long week
It's been a long
of
2 weeks for me.
physical stuff. Yeah, 2 weeks and whatnot. See, and Foggy's here. So, oh, did somebody snooze it? No
I don't
snoozing.
know
We're
who
gonna let it
snoozed
run.
it.
We're gonna let it run, and then we're going to get into this 2,500 word masterpiece of Luna, who uh, really needs to get those haters' voice out of her head because she is a very talented writer, and I absolutely love this story. And eventually, I better be one of the first people to know when it finally goes to publish so that I can like buy it. I'm more of an audiobook reader, but I over here, that is my trophies. Okay. I don't have animal heads on my wall. I have the tattooed flesh of dead
Tattooed books,
trees.
or you have tattooed trees.
Yes, I have the tattooed flesh of dead trees that are my trophies. I do also collect editions for my friends. I have several books where I have every single edition. I have it like I have one of R.L. Parker's. I have it in two different digital editions and a first edition hardback and a second edition hardback and a Kickstarter edition paperback. So, did 5 fucking editions all for one fucking book. Oh, the number of books that have been finished based on the prompts and people are like, I was this close, it was missing something, and a prompt helped me flesh out something that I didn't know was missing, or it answered questions I didn't have about my manuscript. Yes, Kesh is a prime example. Her baby that she's working on is older than her actual blood and flesh baby, and is finally going to see the light of day. So, yeah. And I'm not gonna
And
lie, it is really awesome having a dedication made out to oneself. Um, I I do have a edition of a book that is dedicated to me for stroking the book on screen.
hey, you're in the dedication for Crossroads too.
Yes, yes, I am. And I love autographed copies. And I love being able to Vanna White them on the screen. So HMP disavows all knowledge of the making of this book. They will shill it though. We totally will.
It's so quiet. So
Like, I
quiet.
already lost my shit once. We're just waiting on it.
Oh yeah.
I'm waiting to see exactly how bad I'm gonna lose my shit on this one.
We will help you get there, Foggy.
Yep. One prompt at a time or one hey, don't make me put a boot in your butt at a time. There have been plenty of times that PA power down there has threatened to put a boot in mine, and there has been equal amount of times I've threatened to put a boot in his. But we are definitely a co-op of ideas and talent and lessons learned.
Bless you.
Thank you.
Okay, we're back. All
Thank you,
right.
P.
So, for those who may have joined or lurked, uh, arriving before our little ad break, um, there is a trigger warning for attempted self unaliving. I don't know what Twitch's TOS is about discussing that. Um, and, damn it.
How did we get the ad
I
break
don't know.
to restart?
I don't know.
I think it's because we've been off for so long.
Possibly. Puppy. Chick. Wolf-chan. My happy place.
Find my happy place. Find my happy place.
Ooh, this means Trish is last to devastate us.
Oh Lord.
Or amuse us.
Well, yeah, but no matter what, it's devastating. It's either devastatingly cute or devastatingly, oh my god.
Oh yeah.
Or the
Yeah.
or it's the out of story error.
Yeah.
Which is devastating in its own.
Reminds me, I should make sure the world knows how many chapters remain. Oh, okay, got it. Got it, got it, got it. Yes. 5, 4, 3, 2.
I don't think any of us are ever gonna get over the cannibal grandpa though.
No, never gonna get over the cannibal grandpa. Never. Never. About like we're still never ever gonna get over the cotton candy people cult
The
or
cotton candy cult.
or the French
We've
toast
had a lot of cults. You
or
ever realize
the
that we've had a lot of
tentacle
cults?
or the doppelganger tentacle. That mm,
Yeah.
mm.
I still can't watch a freaking anything about a damn octopus without hearing that particular scene. And sorry,
My work here is done. Ooh, pretty. Shiny.
I think I
I've
just
had
need to
that.
get one of them and sit them on my desk and call them Cash and turn around and I'm like, all right, Cash, what am I doing today? Uh,
Just watch for it to respond, because if it responds, you might have an issue.
I may have had octopus before Kesh did the doppelganger tentacle. It just gave me an excuse to have more.
Yeah. But see, that's the fun thing. Kesh has tentacles. And also very intricate dragon shifters and and a whole character that I named. Uh, and I get to name some more because I did redeem that. As soon as it comes over to me. Uh, but I can't get over Todd. Todd's my babe. Todd's my favorite character.
Todd is 100% your character. You are Todd's mom, like
I am Todd's mom.
100%.
That explains so much. For those who are not aware and have not gone back and watched old episodes, Todd is an imp, and there's a lot of shenanigans. I had a lot of fun reading and losing my shit. I think I had to hit my inhaler a couple of times with that. Um, but I'll still never forget the time I got trolled with Manticore. That just
It was actually in that scene you got trolled, and then we had Todd.
yep, yep, yep. All right, so here we go. Ad is done. Let's go. So that's it then? You and Lance are done? Trey sounds tinny over the comm's tiny screen. Trey's voice hits me in a soothing way despite the harsh truth he's asking about. I want to cry, but there's not anything in me that can break the floodgates. I feel as shriveled up as old vellum left out in the sun too long. As romantic partners, yes. Continuing to work with him as hunting partners, though, that remains to be seen. The sun shines brightly on my secluded place, somewhere atop one of the smaller buildings on the estate. The cheery illumination pisses me off so much that I offer the giant orb a one finger salute and a mocking smile. You would have rather he know your feelings without having to explain them, and he preferred you to tell him things without him having to ask. A communication hurdle that neither of you seem to overcome. Trey is lost in his own thoughts for a moment, a burdened groan easing from his lips. Well, there has to be romance in the romantic part of it, right? Hey, fuck you, Trey. I shoot off without thinking. I bolt straight up, gravel crunching loudly underneath my angry footsteps. There's a small box garden nearby, and I pace parallel to it, but my gaze fixated ahead. We had something at least. It was comfortable carrying love. I swallow that lie before it leaves my tongue. My chest heaves and burns with the fight to deny it. My pacing halts mid stride, and I glare up at the sky. I clench my hand over my nodding stomach, nausea bubbling. Trey speaks softly, consolingly, when he says, "It was convenient, Leggy. We didn't say anything because it wasn't our business, and it wasn't interfering much with our hunting. I'm sorry. But on the bright side, you had someone to hold you through the dark times, and he had a hole to take his stress out on." I know why I like Allegra so much. She reminds me of me. Bile, thick and viscous, clogs my throat. Filthy, tainted, ashamed. My flesh writhes at the crass knowledge, and I have this deep rooted urge to peel my skin away and allow my bones to breathe. Since that's not possible, I roll my shoulders back and loose an elongated sigh. But you've got one thing wrong, Trey. He never held me in the ways I've needed. Not once. And I wanted to believe we could be more, build each other to be more. My voice warbles and my throat aches with the strain of keeping my emotions down. The bastard could at least be here to console you, to try to fix what he broke. Trey reins his venom in, clearing his throat. We can see what Gav says about it. In the meantime, you and Lance will more than likely be sleeping in separate rooms. Screaming out might cause unwanted attention, and I rather like my hair, so yanking it out wouldn't do. No shit. We're not sleeping in the same bed now. But if he were here right this minute, I'd knee him in the dick. I look down at the screen and I see how tired Trey is. Lance's words ping pong through my head. You're so selfish. I swallow the bitter, acidic taste and ask, is the workload there heavy? He scrubs a hand down his face and rubs the back of his neck. His laugh at my declaration is brittle. It's an adjustment for sure, and it's no harder than it normally is. Carmilla is crazy good at optics and tactical planning, and Devon is proficient with hand to hand and close contact. A blush creeps into his cheeks, darkening them to near purple. Oh, yeah? Sounds like you've got the hots for the new recruit, I tease, feeling as close to normal as I have in quite a long while. Trey grins, but quickly curbs it by curling his lips in between his teeth. The fingers of one of his hands strokes his beard slowly. It's not like that, although his twinkling eyes say otherwise. I waggle my eyebrows while tilting my head to one side. If that's what you're going with, fine, even though Trace thinks differently. But don't break him in too soon. You might scare him off. Or get him addicted. You fucking did not just. Trey pushes out a heavy breath through his nose, shaking his head. Girl, I'm not about to play with you. A single syllable exits my mouth just as the door to the roof opens. If it hadn't slammed against the side of the wall, I wouldn't have even heard it. Trey, I gotta go. I informed tersely just before I close the comm and direct my curtain to a my I informed tersely just before I close the comm and direct my attention to a curtain of red hair spilling out into the afternoon sunlight. This person couldn't possibly be more than 15 from their frame, and they're spinning in circles, hands clenched on both sides of their head. They wear a blue, tattered tunic exposing bare, sun shaded arms and legs. The kid wears no shoes, but mother of roses preserve them because there are so many scars etched into their skin, like an index displaying some of what they've endured. My heart aches and I call out, Hey, are you okay? They whirl around, their deep blue eyes growing huge with fear and something else. You, they warble. Tears shift their gaze to sapphire glass and they mutter, I'm sorry, before rushing to the ledge of the building. The wind gusts and blusters, threatening to push the kid over. They turn to look at me, mouth forming soundless words, the bronze collar at their throat glinting dully in the sun, their eyes holding an all too familiar look. I've seen it too many times with Vela, Gavin, Trace, Trey, Lance, from the victims of vampiric attacks, some of their family members, especially in my own reflection. Get away from there! The comm clatters to the gravel as I rush to grip the kid's wrist just before they topple over. Unfortunately, my own footing is thrown off by the wind and momentum of being pulled down, and I'm barely able to hold on to the concrete to stop our descent. I grunt at the yanking on my shoulder joint, pain bursting. Hold on, kid! I'm able to gain some leverage by planting my feet on the window closest to me. Allegra falling isn't an option. I'm sorry, Miss. I make the mistake of looking down, but I keep my gaze locked on the child's horror stricken face. You fucking don't let go. You hear me? I try to pull the kid up with one hand, but they don't get far and I have to lower them again. I inhale as deeply as the gale allows and scream out, Lovain! I tighten my grip, watching blood drip from the kid's nails clawing at my skin. I feel them slipping, but don't give my negative thoughts attention. Instead, I yell above the roar of the wind, You want to live, right? Tears stream down the child's face and they nod frantically. They reposition their clamp on my arm, mouth agape. It's only because of my constant straining that I'm able to hold out as much as I am. My strength is waning and I know it'll give out soon. Even so, I try to pull us both up, throwing up every fucking prayer I know. If I can't be saved, at least rescue the kid. A vice around my wrist leaves me gasping, and my attention is brought up to Lovain, who's in his human form. I begin to cry as he lifts us with one hand, making sure we're well away from the ledge before the kid lets go of my wrist, only to immediately latch onto my waist. I, meanwhile, sink to the gravel, every atom inside screaming. My heart takes a sledgehammer to my bones, and I'm secured by Lavaine's arms. Ignoring the odors of urine and fear, I bury my face into Lavaine's shirt and cry. I'm plopped outside of the infirmary on a hard wooden bench, which does not bring any kind of comfort to me. My left arm is in a sling, and my right wrist and halfway up my arm are wrapped in white bandaging. A brief flicker of mother slides through my mind, but the kid, whose name is Micah, is pressed against my right side, cleaner, quieter, chin against their chest as far as their collar will allow. Hesitantly, I wrap my arm around their shoulders, giving a tentative smile. Lavaine is seated to my left, arms folded over his chest, his glaring gaze locked on the door at the end of the hall. The on site nurses had been staunch about not letting him inside while treatment had been administered, but he refused to leave our sides. I almost bump my shoulder against his before I remember about the sling. Instead, I give him an encouraging half smile, and I'm satisfied with his acknowledging nod. I'm so sorry, Miss Allegra. I wasn't trying to. I just wanted it all to stop. I look at Micah, their whimpering pulling further at my heartstrings. I had asked them to simply call me Allegra, but they'd been insistent. Well, it's not the worst thing I've been called. I draw Micah in tighter for a momentary quick squeeze. You've got nothing to apologize for. I have friends who know what that's like. Shoot. I know what that's like. There's no shame in those feelings. We all need support, especially in the harder times. You've got that now, with me and Lavaine here. Large tears spring to their eyes, dripping unchecked down their cheeks. No, that's not why I'm apologizing. They look a bit sheepish and their eyes wander over my injuries. Well, I am sorry about you getting hurt. Micah bites their lower lip, wanting to say more. Aw, I've suffered worse than this. I'm nearly healed up, less soreness, so I was due soon anyway. My attempt at levity fails, so I turn my full attention to Micah. What's wrong? The. I. They remove themselves from my hold and slide away almost a foot on the bench. I don't know if you were awake, but I was the one who was ordered to kill you. The words weigh heavy in the air. And while I want to reach out to Micah, I understand that they'd prefer space. I'm guessing it wasn't your idea? Is that why you wanted to? No, no, no. I didn't want to hurt you, but I was under orders. I was barely able to stop myself. Micah lays a heavy hand on their collar. And I didn't want to die, just to make the pain stop. Abruptly, they rub their face against my front like an injured pup or cub finding safety. Why did you save me, Ms. Allegra? Their voice cracks throughout the question. My shoulder hurts all to hell when I cut both sides of their face, but this is important, and they need the comfort. My team and I, we're more than hunters, more than life takers. We preserve it where and when we can. You were in danger, and I'd have been so sick and disappointed with myself if I hadn't done everything I could to save you. Surprisingly, I kissed Micah's forehead, brushing away their tears with my good hand. We are just as much the light as we are the darkness, and it's something we're still learning to embrace. Okay, seriously, Allegra, who the fuck are you? Never pegged you for the maternal type, Allegra. Haughty, angry, bitter. Lance. This bitch. I whirl around into a standing position, keeping Micah firmly behind me. I'm met with Lavaine's back and a screaming shoulder, but I take it in stride. I step to Lavaine's side, my glare hostile, unwelcoming. It matches his. Our relationship isn't even cold in the ground, and you couldn't wait, could you? So maybe I should have reined in the vitriol little bit. But in all fairness, he started it. He narrows his eyes, his jaw clenched. The jury is still out on that. Lance flicks his eyes disdainfully toward Louvain. Shoving that aside, you've caused trouble that I told you not to. Regardless, hand over the boy. He advances, his hand outstretched. I'm not a boy, Micah insists. Louvain shields me, a gurgling snarl in his throat. I can't see his eyes, but I assume there's death in the twin orbs. I vist cal allegra, un Micah, Veltanut. You won't hurt Allegra and Micah, animal excrement. I snort a laugh, stepping up once more until Louvain and I are side by side. Micah closes rank on my right, a tiny smile on their lips. What did he say? Lance demands. He said, Micah begins, but I clamp a hand over their mouth. Louvain and I share a startled, eager look before I say, he said he'll kick your teeth in if you touch us. Just hand over the boy over, then you can go back home, Lance growls out. No, Micah latches onto my arm again. I want to stay with
Ho,
Ms.
ho, ho,
Allegra
ho, ho, ho,
and
ho.
Louvain.
I beg your finest fucking pardon. If I didn't have to go deal with the gremlin right now, I'd give him a piece of my fucking mind. There's plenty of room at HQ, and it'll be faster at getting me to go back. And you know Trace and Vela will love Micah. There are rules and protocols and procedures, Allegra. You can't just take a child from this facility. A faceless, feminine voice calls out. What's one little brat compared to an empire, Lance? Let them go. That's an order from the tip top. Lance sighs. Go home tonight. I'll call Gav and the rest of them to let them know, and the rest to let them know that you'll be bringing 2 guests. I think it's better if we go back tomorrow. Louvain has to transform, remember? And he can fly. Or don't you remember? What does it matter so long as they leave? The feminine voice again. Fine. Only because I don't have time for this and because it's you, Malaya. His sweet tone. Oh, fine. Only because I don't have time for this and because it's you, Malaya. The sweet tone, warm and soft, hits me right in the gut. But I keep my face neutral as Lance walks away. You don't care. You don't care. Ms. Allegra, am I really going with you? Micah's voice is hopeful, buoyant. You are, I say with a nod, noting how easy this is. They're up to something. Micah, I lean down and whisper, you know this place, right? Yes, but not everywhere. There are some restricted areas where I'm not allowed without consequences. Micah once again grips the collar, a shiver rocking their frail frame. Louvain growls as he grabs the collar, breaking it in 2. He releases the pieces, and they clatter to the floor. I'm free, Micah warbles. Good. I nod. Come on. I direct, tugging Micah along, trusting Louvain to follow. It'll take some maneuvering and a lot of work, but we're finding the missing vampires and setting them all free.
Dun dun dun. Woo! Yeah, Julie had two sets of rages in one story, and now we've had a third one. Shit.
I like Allegra.
I love Allegra. I really do. All right, and
I,
just because we have to, go ahead. What?
I like the female rage in that one.
T- You know, it's a lot of female rage lately. I'm here for it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, 100%.
And just because we have to see it pop across our screen. Doo, 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 doo.
It's Trisha.
I do so like how that. I wish it stayed up though.
There's got to be a way. There's got to be a way.
I'll have to go to YouTube University.
No, they're accredited. Real life accredited, anyways.
What did I miss?
Oh, look, another ad break in 5 minutes.
Okay,
Yo,
what did I miss?
gosh, me apparently
Um,
scrunching Kesh's face. My bad.
Why are we? What is going on?
Well, because the last time that I was rearranging the squares and whatnot, it was just you and me, so I was guessing where the other
Other people went. Yes.
right, and I hit the wrong button. So instead of shortening up the what was actually visible, getting rid of all the blank stuff, it actually smushed Kesh, and that's live on the stream. I'm sorry.
Well,
It did not mean to
yeah.
squish my best friend like a mammogram.
okay. So am I gonna? Can somebody give me the recap, or am I gonna have to go back and read it or watch it?
Allegra gets to take Micah home. Back to she, Levane, and Micah are leaving. And it's all because there's this sultry fucking Regina
That's after.
George and
Oh, after fucking Lance.
Lance. And Lance was like, fine, whatever. I don't have time for this. And because it's you, Malaya, home slice been cheating.
I just want 5 minutes. I just want to talk to him. I just want to talk to him. I promise I won't hurt him badly. Where he can't do his
I
job. But guess what? You don't need a dick to do your job.
mean, you really don't. I mean, unless you're in the adult film industry, and
I
that's
mean,
what you play with as far as that. It starts to get a little bit trickier and a little more like, I mean, you can also have a lot of fun with that if you're.
there's a genre for everything there.
Oh yeah, I know. But if you're a manly man, sorry.
Well, I got something for the manly men.
Mhm. Okay, last prompt. We've already swung. It's popped Trisha's voice name up. We've got a couple of snoozes left. We got an ad that starts in a minute, but I'm betting we can get through this with Bitzer on the snooze fest. Okay. He is too boring. It's probably a dead fish. As I walked out of my office, lots of what was on my desk, life, seemed rather crappy. Once I got home, my husband looked at my face. He just hugged me. He knew that I had just gotten fired, and I hated that I did all because I did one typo. One typo that cost me my wonderful job. Don't worry, honey. You will be all right. I know I make enough for both of us. I also know you liked me outside the house and socializing. People take a break. Give yourself a month, then start looking for work. You need the time to relax. You are very stressed with this particular job, my husband said. He kissed my forehead and took my box of stuff into my office craft room. I went and got some water and sat at the kitchen table. My husband walked in. He ran his hands across my shoulders. He gathered the stuff he needed to make dinner and started cooking. I sat watching him. He is so good to me, I thought. I started fiddling with the pens that sit with the little notepad we kept on the table to write grocery lists. Then I just started writing about the imaginary world I had when I was just sitting alone in the quiet. I didn't know how focused I was until my husband put his hand over mine. Honey, it's time for dinner. He put a plate of food in front of me. I'm sorry, I was just so focused on a stupid story, I said, pushing the pen and notepad away and started eating. We ate quietly. Then my husband grabbed the notepad and started reading what I wrote. He was smiling as he read. This is really good, he said, putting the notebook near me. You should write a book. It's just a stupid story, I said. One, it's not stupid. If you want to write, then write, he said. But it's a waste of time, I said. It's not a waste of time if you enjoy writing. He took my hand. I can take care of everything. You can write, and if you want to publish your stories, I will help you figure that out. But I started to argue. There is no but. Do you enjoy writing? He asked. Yes, I answered quietly. Then write, he said. That's it. Okay, I will take the month you said I should take and write, I said. But I will go back to work after the month. My husband didn't say anything. We finished dinner and cleaned up. From that point, I would spend my time after doing the housework writing. I would spend my time after doing the housework writing. I finished my first book after a couple weeks. I showed it to my husband. This is good. It's just a little rough. Yeah, I know. I looked into editors and they are expensive, I said, feeling defeated. I will pay an editor if you want to have it edited, he offered. I don't know. Okay, well, if you figure it out, let me know, he said. I just nodded. I went back into my office and started another story. After the month was up, I sat my husband down to discuss me continuing my writing and getting the first story edited. You can make writing your career. I will support you, he said. Find the editor that is a good fit for your writing. Are you sure you are okay with this? I asked. Of course I am. You are much happier since you started writing, he smiled. I gave him a hug and went into my office. Dun dun dun.
And that, people, is how Trisha Jones became a full-time author.
I was wondering if this was based on personal experience.
I don't know, but this kind of sounds like this is how this all happened.
Well, we all know her a
She like
little.
a little bit.
I'm not crying, you're crying. You know what, dude?
What in the hair?
I have no idea what she's doing.
Tonight I have turned my wrist in a certain way 3 times and got a stabbing pain.
Oh,
Not
that's not
good.
good. Okay.
At least it's not my fine-tune hand. It's the power hand. I don't need to use these fingers. This.
I'm waiting it till it's down to like almost the last 5 seconds before I hit it.
Right? And while you do, well, yeah. All right. So we now need to. Okay, so we currently have 5 for tomorrow night with a 6th on its way in. So don't forget, if you are still wanting to submit for this week's prompt, which was concept, a moment of kindness leads to unintended and irreversible consequences. Have it in by 3 p.m. Central to the Hold My Pen Promptcast. That's a hard and fast deadline. No, I'm not done yet. Extensions for Sunday. And please adjust your times accordingly. And now the next wonderful thing we are going to do is, let's see, master list. For those curious, Styx is also responsible for this beautiful bad boy here. Not that he got it for me or anything, but just around Christmas time, he actually had one, and I was like, okay, you actually have one. I need to pick somebody's brain. By the time we were done talking, I had it ordered, and it has been absolutely great because I don't have to fiddle faddle with OBS in the background. I've even got a whole page set up for my writing. If I want to pull up Scrivener, a button push. If I want to pull up specifically the weekly writing prompt master list, boom, that's a website button. Like it's oh, I love it so much. Love it so much.
All right. I'm hitting the button to roll.
Hitting the button, hitting the button. So for next week, we are voting on what the official prompt is. Don't forget, it's the last week of Julie's challenge, or is it the second last?
No, this is the third week. May has 5 weeks. So this is only the
And just
third week of May.
I couldn't
We
remember
got 2 more.
what. Oh yeah, that's because May actually ends on the 31st or the 30th. This or it's Saturday and Sunday, the 30th and the 31st. Sorry, I'm
Dun.
due May 23rd. 3 p.m. Adjust your times accordingly. So, first concept. What do
13.
we got? 13? Holy
Okay,
shit.
13.
We ain't been in the low
I
numbers in
know
a
it's been a
hot
minute since we've
minute.
been that low.
A character discovers they were protected from the truth for reasons they may not forgive. One more time, a character discovers they were protected from the truth for reasons they may not forgive.
Starting first line, number 92.
Starting first line. And for those new, starting first line, like that's your start, and you start writing. Sometimes you get to it and realize that that's not where this scene starts, and you start writing something that leads up to that. Completely fine. Also, it does not have to be word for word. Change it to suit your verbiage. Change names, change professions, pronouns, whatever. It's just supposed to spark your creativity. In a town built on secrets, Isabella was about to uncover the one truth that would change everything.
Oh God. Okay.
Mhm.
And dialogue number 10.
Oh. Oh. Fuck, y'all. I don't know if y'all are going to be able to. Hey, whoever's setting up the poll, can we put a little extra time on this one, because between the three options, I am pretty sure it's going to take people weighing some pros and cons. Use this dialogue. They said it was impossible. I guess they were wrong.
They all go well together. Every fucking one of them. This is gonna end up being a three-way tie. Watch it. It's gonna end up being a fucking three-way tie.
Golly. Thank
Hold
you,
up.
Sticks. God, I. Oh. Okay, which story am I working on right now? Which am I gonna?
Hmm. How many people do we got in right now?
But
13.
there's the 13 people watching. Says 7 votes. We are now over that.
Sorry. Ooh.
9, 11. No, that would be right because we've got Streambot in here and
No, we've got 13 that are not the broadcaster and not the bot. Bots. Bot. Yeah. All right. Vote.
okay, the
Vote,
bot.
vote, vote. I manually hand counted the people on this side.
Okay,
Come on.
that works too. Even if
Oh my
you're
God.
not writing for this
Ugh.
week, please vote. See, right now we are damn near neck and neck. We're right now we have one to be a tie out for concept and dialogue.
This is. Now, please remember, even if the prompt that you wanted does not become the official prompt, if you want to add in the other ones, if it helps you push along in your story, by all means, use more than one.
Right.
I challenge myself and try to use all three.
Kesh does. So does when
You
PA
don't
Power
have
is
to,
able to
though.
write. He does too, and Stavros has done it in the past. I know Julie and I have both done it. Sometimes it's that next thing that gets you
Oh
going.
shit, concepts in the leave. I think that's everybody. 11, 12, 13. Yeah, we've got all 13 votes. It looks like Concept's going to be the winner. Unless we got somebody who jumps in real quick.
Oh, that's wow. But
Twice in a row.
what's crazy is that like so often one prompt just runs away, right? Um with the most votes. So yeah, all right. Officially, that did take a little bit longer than what we normally have for getting everybody. And also, if you guys have author friends, reader friends who have nothing better to do on a Saturday and sometimes Sunday night, tell them they should hang out, right? Again, almost everybody has a YouTube account, even if they don't really want to. They don't have a Twitch account. Tell them they can watch us over on YouTube, right? We're still figuring out how to do a poll over there, but typically when people are having problems with the Twitch stream, they go and like comment on the YouTube, and then we take that into consideration for the official poll and add those numbers in. And no, you don't get to vote on both sides. Okay, let's make this fair. We are all grown-ups.
Yep,
Concept.
Concept is the winner.
Concept is the winner. Remember, you have all week to read or write. You got all week to read too. I'm just saying, if you've got authors that you want to read, then just read them. All right, so yeah, season 3. There we go. Concept: a character discovers they were protected from the truth for reasons they may not forgive. And don't forget our Julie DeFisher's May birthday challenge. And also going forward, May is also going to be Make It Matter May. Make it matter. Focus on significance, big or small, small moments with big emotional weight, ordinary things treated as important, and a single choice that changes everything. Those are some of the different ways that you can make a small thing matter. There's also the Discord channel that is dedicated to talking about Make It Matter May and resources. Um, if you come across resources that might help, links or documents that you want to share that are on the web, post away. It is a community resource, right? Uh, Sharing things that may help with writing. Uh, for those who are new and are not aware, Julie and I, as well as lots of our prompters, several of our prompters at any rate, we started over in another Discord server called the Authors Pub, or affectionately known as TAP. It's more of a chill author hangout now than anything else, but we literally had a slogan: "A rising tide lifts all ships." And so that's what we're here to do. We are the rising tide. Us, the Hold My Pen prompters, are a rising tide, and we lift each other up and make sure that your ships can sail out into the great wide world. That's it. I need to get a pirate fucking tattoo. Pirate ship. I need a pirate ship. I'm gonna have a compass and a freaking hourglass and all that other like yeah. I need a
You're going to
pirate
have the
ship.
anchor too.
And I'm gonna have an
And the
anchor too.
Kraken.
Right over.
And the
And
Kraken.
and a tentacle arm at the very least.
With
Tinkerbell.
Tinkerbell.
No. No, 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 no. Tinkerbell is not going on this body. No. The SS Hold My Pen. Fuck! Hell yeah! Hell fucking yeah!
Now I'm going to have to get a boat drawn behind me and then like or at least the ass end of a fucking boat drawn behind me. It says the SS.
I mean, we do see TBR Busterland, which is all pirate themed.
Yes.
I may have. Okay, I think that's everything. Again, if you are seeing this after the fact, please go to the link in our bio, whether you're on YouTube or on Twitch. Click in. The Discord invite link is there. Fill out how you found us so that we kind of know where our reach is going. If you were suggested to check us out by somebody, let us know who. Because let's be honest, Death's Head and Bitzer are two of the people that have literally just helped us grow in the last, I want to say, what, 6 months, and brought in great, wonderful people. We are so grateful to you guys for bringing people in. It made our numbers a little bit higher, so Styx stumbled across us. It just bring people into the chaos, encourage them to write, tell stories, listen to stories, talk about authors, the craziness, the shenanigans. But join us in the Discord. If you have any questions about the prompts, about how to do whatever, our general chat is open for whatever questions. We even have breakout rooms. We have quiet rooms. We have a sprint bot. If you want a Pomodoro type thing that also helps you keep track of how many new words you wrote in a time frame, we normally do a 45-minute sprint and then 15-minute breaks when we do that. Uh, jump in, join, don't body double. The number of times these ladies have seen me fold my laundry.
Hell, I helped you literally tell you that the freaking bar was crooked while you were redoing your closet.
Yeah.
I might
No,
not be able to
dialogue
do
did
much from
not land.
7.5 hours away, but I can tell you if that bar ain't straight.
Yep. I mean, Julie is our very own DIY maven, the queen of it all. She has fixed plumbing in 2 other countries from our Discord. She is fixed vehicle issues or engine issues, I should say, in 2 different countries, several different states. Um, and even helped diagnose an issue with my washing machine, helped my kid try to fix it. Then I had to run over the part that was be very hard to replace. So we just bought a whole new washer. But regardless, we were doing great right up until mom ran over the part. But it's okay. I'm big on grammar. Kesh has helped with fashion, helping Stavros
And Starbucks is like,
and
she's helped with my
Foggy's helped.
dryer.
Yep. And that no writing for me this week then. That's fine. You don't need to announce it, Sticks. We know that you're not taking this seriously. It's fine. It's okay. You've also had a really rough couple of weeks, and you've been there for us in a lot of different ways, ESV and all that. So don't ever feel pressured, although Julie will gently, lovingly bully you into writing one, you know, and encourage forcefully. But seriously, don't take it too personally. I know you're great, but you're allowed to take a break. I just got a list of 10 things
I mean,
that actually make a
literally Six
difference.
runs our back end during
On
Friday
Fridays,
nights. Um,
and if I'm having technical
and yes,
difficulties or I'm otherwise occupied, he's jumped up there and run the back end so that people can be up here. Like,
so we can all do the damn thing. But it
built
is
our
what it is,
website,
and we will do what we need to do.
which by the way, if you have submitted, if you have published a book during the course of the show, whether you caught us on Twitch, you caught us here, you caught us on YouTube, whatever, We would like your testimonials. Please send those to the Hold My Pen Promptcast. We want to put some of those blurbs of how Hold My Pen Promptcast has helped you with community, with your writing, etc., on our website because we'd like to start advertising for that. It is being paid for and handled, so we would like to flesh it out a little bit more. And you guys are the reason we have content in the first place. So please give us your testimonials. Help us promote us in a bigger arena. Thank
Right on, right on, right on. All right, but it is
you. Email.
getting late, so we're gonna go ahead and end out right now. Uh, so you guys know the spiel. Tomorrow night, right here, 7 o'clock, 8 p.m. Eastern. Adjust your times accordingly. Don't add to the population, don't subtract to the population. If you don't plan on changing diapers in the next 9 fucking months, rep your damn tool. Don't end up in the fucking hospital if you get your ass arrested. It better be for a good reason, and then I'll think about putting money on your commissary because right now we're buying shit to make the show better. So bail's out of the question unless you really didn't do anything, and then we'll figure it out. Otherwise, be brave, be bold, but always stay humble. And we will see you tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern. Adjust your times accordingly. Bye.